Evening all. Welcome back to Beyond the Lane, episode 46. Big up to everybody in the chat. Big up to everybody watching at home. Hope you're all doing well tonight. Please smash the like button. Please subscribe if you haven't. To all of us, would be much appreciated. Look, let's say hello to our guests. Maz, how you doing, buddy? How are you? How you been? Thanks for jumping on.
Good evening, Dan. Good evening, Nige. Good evening, Corey. Yeah, all good. All good. Looking forward to what the season's got in store for us once things start really heating up during the Christmas period, right? And the games are coming thick and fast. I think that's when we will know how well we're doing. A bit like what happened in Angie's first season, right?
It's all a bit too smooth right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for coming on, Maz. And Corey, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good, my friend. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, I was actually at the game with my little one on Saturday. And from what I've saw from us in the first half, I was quite disappointed. Second half, we seem to have woken up and actually played some football. So yeah, in all, I think it was a good day for me and my boy. It was his first game.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I thought you might go. Tickets cheap, were they?
Oh, well, I had to sit in the Brighton crowd because it's my aunt's season ticket.
Oh.
At least it was in the North Stand, so at least it was loud and boisterous. But as a Tottenham supporter, I didn't want to be there. I wanted to be in the South Stand where our boys were.
Oh. Thanks for coming on, mate. And Nige, how you doing, man?
I'm good, mate. How are you? Big up, Maz. Big up, Corey. Big up, chat. Hope everyone's well. How you doing, Dan?
Yeah, I'm all good. Looking forward to the show. Yeah, let's say hello to a few people in the chat. Mark Swift. How you doing, Mark? Thank you for being here. Maz is still drunk. Maz, what's going on?
Drunk on life, Mark. Okay.
And then we got come on, you Spurs, Marcus. Evening to you, Marcus. Thank you for being here. Cheers, guys. Thank you so much. Look, guys, let's get into that Brighton game. I mean, some people think it was the best performance of the season, and I'm not sure about that, but I'm sure we'll talk about it and work that out. 2-2. The game told us everything about us right now. Progress, yes, but there's still some issues in the team that we need to be sorted. I thought we dominated the ball, controlled the midfield, but we didn't create that clinical chances. That's what we should have been doing. A lot of the ball, a lot of possession. But look, let's get into it. Let's start off with the starting lineup. Let's just get that up on the screen because I just want everybody's take on what they thought about it, and if you guys had any kind of concerns when you saw that lineup, and that's where we're going to start tonight. Let's have a look. Let's get that starting lineup up. There we go. Right. So anybody can take this one first. Are you happy with the lineup? What did you think, guys?
I think it was rather lackluster on the left-hand side. We seem to be really struggling on that left side, even with Udogie back and Odegaard. We really didn't address that situation properly in the transfer market. We went out and spent some big money on some very good players, and one of them just, he wasn't playing. I really wanted to see him, and then he came on in the second half, and we kind of looked a little bit more dangerous with him there. Sorry, it's Xavi. From where I was sitting, obviously I said I was away from our boys. I had to sit in the North Stand with all the Brighton lot, but free tickets to watch a football game, I ain't going to complain. First half, we were very lucky to get that goal back, and that's what changed it around for us in the second half. We looked more clinical in the second half, a little bit more dangerous, quicker passing, kind of put Brighton to bed a little bit there. And I keep saying...
Were you happy with that lineup, Corey? Were you happy with that lineup?
The lineup, apart from Odegaard and Udogie, yeah, I'd say that's solid for me. I mean, Richarlison seems to be a different player under Frank, to be honest with you.
Okay. Anybody else on that lineup? What did you think of Odegaard starting? No, Xavi.
I mean, I didn't have majorly strong feelings about the lineup because, we're near enough got most of our first teamers in the squad, aside from Solanke, I guess. But I was when the game. I guess what I'm getting frustrated with is okay, fine, you're playing Odegaard on the left there, but why the hell did you buy Tell, and why did you spend 40 million on him, or 35, or whatever the combined total is of the loan fee and then the purchase fee, 45 million? Well, why bring him in? And if you look at the first half a dozen or so games that we've played so far, he's featured once and he's rubbish. And I just think that I would have hoped that Frank, when he came in, would have said no to someone like Tell, especially if he's not too sure on him. And if the club persuaded him, look, Bayern has done us a favour. We said, we'll buy him. We see potential in him and stuff like that. That he can stand up for his beliefs and say, I don't know the player, I don't want him, but he didn't. So my first thought when I saw that lineup was, why isn't Tell in the team? You paid big money for him. Why isn't he starting? You've omitted him from your Champions League squad. Surely these are the games in which you're going to play him in, and he didn't. He's playing Odegaard. Aside from that, I just think we're in big trouble when you're relying on Bergvall to play that number 10 role, because he's the boy, as well as he's done, and the potential is there for him. He's not the answer in the Premier League. He just isn't. And Frank needs time to coach him, to improve him. But you can't be relying on the Odegaards and the Bergvalls and the Tells to do it for us. And that's what I see when I see that starting lineup. I just see sort of failures in transfer policy, I'm not saying this is Frank's fault, but from the club and Ange previously, and disappointing that we haven't addressed certainly the left hand side of the pitch, knowing that typical Spurs, right, knowing that Son was going to be effing off, knowing that Odegaard last season wasn't the ticket and neither was Tell, and we didn't, and that Solomon's probably unlikely never going to play for the club.
I think it's a big mistake.
It's just such a big mistake, and so that's what I thought when I saw the lineup, if I'm honest with you.
Well, the thing is, sorry, I was going to say something with the whole Tell thing. It was Bayern got him off the back of the hype when he was 16. He was at Bayern 2 seasons, and even Bayern didn't see the potential in him, and we rushed at it like nothing. And I've been saying it for some time with Tell. He was signed off the back of a very good put together scouts video. That's what the hype was about, and he just hasn't lived up to it.
Look, so Wilson's performance, guys, I just think we didn't really see much, did we? I mean, it was okay. I can't remember him creating anything. Okay, he was tidy on the ball, but look, with this left-hand side, Frank has got to give someone a run, right? Tell, Wilson. Don't want to see Johnson out on the left. Definitely not. And look, I just think, I don't know about Wilson. I really don't. We have to give him a run of games. But for me, it's an issue. I think we'll come on to the left side a bit more in a minute. And I just wanted to talk about the game a bit more. Nige, the lineup, were you happy with it?
I wouldn't say I was happy with it. It was nice to see a Dogi start. For me personally, I thought he needed minutes, and I actually thought he did all right. Disappointed, obviously Xavi wasn't now. Disappointed Mawani wasn't now, but apparently he's injured. It just felt very last season when I looked at the team. Apart from Kudus and Polinia, it didn't feel a lot different. And that left-hand side is a massive, massive problem. And for me, Richarlison is just not the man at all. Awful. The worst striker, one of the worst strikers I've seen since I've been supporting Spurs.
Look, so let's talk about that first half. So obviously we started quite well, I thought. We were dominating the play, pushing, and obviously we got caught with the high line. Guys, that goal, what did you make of it?
It's reminiscent of Ange, right?
Yeah.
They intercept in the midfield, one ball over the top. I mean, that is typical Spurs, to be honest with you. I mean, we've been seeing that for the last 30, 40 years. That one ball over the top and we get done. But I didn't think we started well. Yes, we had possession, but I didn't see anything showing me that we were a real threat when we were going forward. Every team that's come up against us so far has sort of started doubling up now on Kudus, and bless him, you know, the boy puts in a shift and never stops. You know, he's always trying to do something. But when he's your only creative player really going forward, you then start forcing him, he's always trying to force himself to make something happen. And I think when the players forcing themselves to make it happen rather than just playing their game and playing football, that's when you still almost start seeing chinks in their armor. The big problem I've got, certainly more specifically for this game, but I've seen it in previous games, is that I don't like the way that he's playing Bentancur. Under Conte, I felt that he effectively made Bentancur the number 8, and he expected him to go up and down that pitch and be the linchpin of the team. And he certainly, when he got first brought in, he was phenomenal for the first, that first 6 months when we qualified for the Champions League. In the second season, he was our best player. And I don't know if you guys recall, when he got injured, we were all like, "Oh my God, our season's over."
Yeah,
because he was literally our best player. And you know, he's come back from injury and he's not quite been the same. But now he is fit. I just think it's such a shame to see him playing so deep and next to Paulinho, because that's not what you get the best out of Bentancur. Bentancur is one of those players, and again, Conte realised this about him, is he needs a rocket fired up his arse. Like, I remember there was one game where Conte on the sideline basically shouted at him and called him a fucking idiot. And then all of a sudden, I've never seen Bentancur sort of play so well after that moment. You know, and I think he responds to that type of criticism, and he needs that fire, you know, up his arse basically to get him to play. So, yeah.
What were we doing wrong then, Maz, in your opinion, everybody else in the panel, in the chat? Because we were pushing, we were dominating the ball, we were trying to create and score, but obviously it just fell away at the final third. Would you approach that game differently then? Because normally when you go to Brighton normally are on you. You know, they're pressing you, they've got possession, they've got a lot of energy. They kind of take the game to you. Where we took the game to them, but without that kind of clinicalness.
You don't have the quality.
Do you think it was bad? Do you think they should have sat back a bit more and let Brighton come on to us and then catch them on the counter? Where do you think it went wrong?
I'm not going to profess that I know the right tactic for it, but I think if you are going to do the pressing game and really go at them and attack, then you need to have that maestro in the center of the pitch, and that's where Bergvall is not the guy. Because
exactly.
The problem with Bergvall at the moment is he positionally, I think, is very bad. I don't think he's good positionally. When we attack, he's got this propensity to go right up almost next to the striker rather than sitting behind the striker and looking around and pinging balls around. A bit like what Eriksen used to do back in the day.
So look at the average player position here. So that Bergvall's number 15. That's where he was for most of the game. So he's not playing in the number 10.
No.
Yeah, he's on the right side of the midfield there.
Well, and that's actually is Bentancur 30 then, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised that Bentancur's the most furthest one up, because he didn't feel that way in the game when we were watching it.
Certainly wasn't that way when I was in the stadium. It felt like he was a bit further back than Paulinho, but yeah, that was just from my view from the north end. But yeah, I honestly think we should have turned up in the 3-5-2 against Brighton, try and control the game from the back, and then gone on the counter and used Spence and Porro as our width, Kudos and Richie up front, and just have Bentancur and Polina in midfield. That's what I would have done instead of playing Bergvall. And then you could have obviously changed the tactic up if it wasn't working. But a 3-5-2 against Brighton, it always breaks them down because they're always looking for that quick pass through the middle, Brighton. They're always trying to get it there or out on the right-hand side. That's just my take.
We've just got a big problem now in that number 10 position with Maddison not in the team and Simmons not starting, I guess, in that position. And still early days for him, right, to get to grips with the Premier League and stuff. We just got a huge problem going forward. It's almost reminiscent of what the problems Ange had when we're going forward, isn't it? In a way, it's like we go up to that final third and you're looking for that quality, which Frank talked about, and the quality is not there. Even Kudos, for how good he is, he doesn't strike me as a player that's going to, I don't know, like, he's not like a Bale or a what player could you liken him to?
Gaza.
Yeah, he's not going to just create something from nothing. He's one of those players that he'll make a lot of things happen, but he's not. I don't think he's that really special player that can just turn something from nothing. If you get,
I've got a good analogy.
That's the impression.
I've got a good analogy. It's like a puppet master, but missing one string.
Yeah, that is a good analogy. Yeah,
I don't think the setup was wrong at all. I think we just lack quality.
Yeah,
in those forward areas, and
yeah.
I think we, for the most part, we dominated the game. We just didn't have the quality up there, and those when it mattered, those moments that mattered, we didn't have that quality to create a good chance or to put it away when we did get it.
Yeah. And that is an indictment. That's a sad indictment of the overall quality of the team. Although we've done well, and Frank has done well, and we're third at the moment, you can see that we just don't have the same quality we had in the past. It's just not there. And proof of that is when Simmons come on, and you do get that, excuse me, that similar quality to what we had in the past, then all of a sudden things start happening.
Yeah.
But we had that quality in Poch's era throughout the whole team. And that's the difference.
So look, the Brighton, they scored 2 goals. I think it was against the run of play, right? Because we were dominating the ball. We were the ones who were trying to take the game to them. Brighton were kind of sitting back. Do you think we forced them back, or do you think their manager told them to play like this and just surrender possession and just try and catch us on transition? Guys, what do you think?
That's how Brighton seem to play sometimes, especially against us. I keep saying that Brighton are our bogey team at the moment. We either turn up and win, or stuff like this happens. The second goal, I will not take it away from that young kid, Yassari. That goal was absolutely electric from where I was sitting behind the goal. But then you're seeing all the Brighton fans on their phones like that in front of their faces. I'm like, can't you just watch a game without your phone in your hand? My phone stayed in my pocket. I didn't celebrate the goal, but I was like, yeah, that's a pretty decent goal. But like, you're a Spurs fan amongst Brighton supporters, you're like, oh, I better shut up. But yeah, I mean, we woke up. I still say we woke up in the second half. The first half, yeah, we may have controlled it a little bit, but we weren't finding that killer pass. We were giving up possession because of Bergvall. He wasn't exactly the greatest on Saturday. And I keep thinking this, if we're going to really struggle with the left, why not put Spence out at left back and put Odegaard out as our left winger? Not Odegaard, Udogie. Put Udogie as the left winger instead, because the guy likes to get forward, but he can't defend. So why not shove him up front?
I think Udogie was okay. I felt he brought balance to the side. I think he's got to get a bit of fitness up, right? Because he's just come back. But I need to see him there a bit more. But there were some encouraging signs for him in my thought. I know he got caught out with the goal. I know that. But I thought he was good. You need that natural width, because we haven't got it from the left winger. Doesn't offer enough. So you've got to have it from the fullback, right? So
why not? Like I said, why not have Udogie as the left winger and have Spence as our left back?
I don't think so. I think you've got to get more out of these players that he's got. Yeah, he's got to give someone a run in coaching, as I think Maz said earlier. These players have got to perform, right? Until we can get to January and then hopefully sign a left-sided winger. You've got to give Wilson time.
You're right, Dan. If he needs to stick to one player and just say, right, you're going to play every game on the left and make that position. He needs to do that, because I think the more you rotate that position, I think the worse it's going to get, if I'm honest. Or not the worse it's going to get. We're just not going to see any improvement on that side of the pitch.
I was so frustrated, right, guys, because, we were 2-0 down, right? And has in the chat, you said this, you think this was our best performance under Frank. Just tell us why. I don't understand it.
I heard this. I know a lot of people were ecstatic that they felt that second half, because we battled back to get the draw, was an amazing performance. I didn't see it that way. What I saw is things only started happening when Simmons came on the pitch.
Exactly.
And really, he's the only guy. I think he took a couple of shots. And apart from that, I don't remember much of us doing anything.
We didn't create clear-cut chances, guys. That's the problem. We didn't.
So why is that our best performance? Or, where was the clear-cut chances? Where was us peppering their goal? I think Richarlison had a couple of opportunities where, he's meant to be this amazing header of the ball, and he didn't really trouble the keeper to any great degree.
There wasn't really that many decently put balls into the box for Richarlison. No. So again, it comes down to the lack of what we've got. I mean, you can't put
in a couple of good balls, didn't he? Porro and Kudos put in one good ball. Richarlison didn't. And if you listen to what Frank said after the game, he talked about Richarlison and that, he needs to do better. He said it in a nice way, but he's basically telling him the balls are there to him to head in or get on the end.
I agree with Nige. Richarlison has got to be one of the worst strikers, football players I've seen at Spurs in a very, very long time. He's got the worst first touch and second touch I've ever seen.
He's not good enough. He's not good enough, really not. No.
But then Solanke's not much better. You see, I don't rate Solanke either. I'm willing to give him a chance. I'm willing to give him a chance. It's not like get out of my club type, player. Whereas Richarlison, I do feel that strongly about. I just don't want him at Spurs because I think he's antithetical to what we are as a club.
I've got to go to Nita's comment there. Last season under Ange, we would have capitulated that game and absolutely folded. We would have lost 3-4-0. To actually have a manager in that understands tactics and gets something out of players, yeah, I love the fact that Frank's here. And I was the massive... All you guys will know this. I was Ange out day one. So I never liked the guy, never rated the guy. Thanks for a nice trophy for the first one, and God knows how long, 17 years. Cheers, mate. See you later. Get out the club.
I'm not really putting this on.
No,
sorry,
I think that's why I was going to say. I think this is why, as a fan base, maybe a lot of us saw it as a really good performance Saturday, because we are so used over certainly last year, us going behind and capitulating, doing nothing, not looking like getting back into a game. Well, we actually saw something, 2-0 down. And I don't know about you guys, but even when we were 2-0 down, I didn't feel that concerned, because I thought Brighton have done nothing. Yet, for some reason, maybe it's because I knew Xavi was on the bench. I knew we had options for a change, but I just wasn't as concerned as I was under Ange.
Yeah, I wasn't. I agree with you, Nige. I wasn't concerned. I didn't think it was a bad performance by any means. I was more frustrated with the individual players and the lack of depth in some key positions that we should have addressed and we didn't address.
Performance, though, Maz. Where was it breaking down on the pitch for you? Was it that
I
number
think
10, the left wing quality up front?
It is the number 10. I think Bergvall didn't help at all in that respect. I think positionally he was really poor throughout the whole game. He tried hard. He was tenacious. He's busy. He gets around. He's not a lazy player by any means. But Bergvall and you're right, what you said, Dan, and on that left side, nothing was happening. And all that does is he just puts kudos, and to be fair for Richie as well, it puts them under an enormous pressure to make things happen. And that is what I saw really in that second half, until Simmons came on, and all of a sudden we looked just a much better team when he came on, because all of a sudden you're getting different passing. Brighton started defending differently because you have a player like Simmons on the pitch. That's when things started happening. But for me, that's worrying. I guess because of that fact, I didn't see it as positively as what other people saw it. Because
I was just so frustrated. To be honest, guys, I was so frustrated with that game. Unlike a bit like Nige, I thought we could come back because I didn't think Brighton were playing well. I just thought we just need to create better chances. And obviously the goals came in the second half, but it was hard work. Yeah, we got it in the final third so many times, but it broke down. Brighton defended pretty well, I think, but Richarlison just didn't offer what we need. If we had a striker playing in that game, a top striker, we would have won that game. Yeah, because that quality would have got us those goals. Yeah, 100%. I think Richarlison let us down. I think that number 10 was an issue. Bergvall, I agree, Maz. He works hard. He runs around. He's energetic. Yeah, I think he could be a good player in the future. But he wasn't creating clear-cut chances. He wasn't putting through balls through. He wasn't scoring or getting into the box to score. He didn't create those goal-scoring opportunities in my eyes. So what was he really doing? And the left-hand side, nothing happened really, other than Doggy got into the box, didn't he? But it's again final ball, and the clear-cut chances, there wasn't any really. Xavi had a couple of shots, 3 shots he had actually when he came on. He did okay, but Richarlison had a chance, hit the side netting. There was a header where Kudos put a lovely ball in, but it hit Richarlison's hand. Other than that, guys, Kudos late on near the end of the game, he had a shot which kind of deflected over for a corner. We didn't create enough quality chances.
Yeah,
and for me, it's a problem.
I'm going to say I'm going to say this for the last 2, maybe 3 years, we still can't seem to beat the low block. Brighton do sit deep when they defend, and they defend in numbers. The low block works for Brighton and they counter. With us, we've been struggling for close to 3, maybe 4 seasons with this low block issue.
Yeah, but you know,
quality.
Corey, you know why Poch was so successful? It's because he had players that could shoot from outside the box.
Exactly. We haven't got anyone really.
You had Ericsson, you had Dele Alli, you had Kane, you had Son. He had basically 5 players that could score from outside the box and take shots. And each of them had individual skill that could beat their men, so we just don't have that anymore. Even who would it be? Xavi and Maddison as the 2 players, and it shouldn't really be that way, right? We should have the wingers should be able to shoot from outside the box. So if you can't make anything happen by penetrating in the box or going out wide and crossing in, you have to start saying to the players, right, take your 20, 25-yard shot, see what happens. But no one did that. Not one. I can't remember one shot from outside the box. Now, what does that tell you as a team with confidence or lack of confidence? Why aren't these players taking shots from outside the box? I think they don't want to let the manager down.
Well, Xavi did, didn't he, when he came on? He did it. He did it.
And that's where I think Frank. I mean, you can't blame Frank for this. I don't think any of this is Frank's fault, by the way. It's way too early to criticize him in any forceful way. I don't think he's got every decision right, and I think he's quite self-critical as well, or self-analytical of himself.
Maz, if we could go to Haz's comment in the chat. Let's go to Haz's comment in the chat. He says, all previous games this season under Frank, we've looked disjointed. Against Brighton, we looked like a team was clicking and connecting. We weren't creating chances, but due to lesser quality.
I just think that's a contradiction in terms. How can you click and connect and not create chances?
Exactly.
Clicking and connecting by passing it side to side. I mean, like, surely you click and connect to advance the ball and create a chance, right? This is why I don't understand why everyone thinks we played well, because the only player that did anything creative was Xavi when he came on. Apart from that, nothing happened of note. Kudos.
Did Frank get the game plan wrong then, Maz? Should he have played a little bit more deeper and drawn Brighton on a bit, or do you think the game plan was right?
I'm not sure you can play that way when you've got Odegaard and Richarlison and Bergvall.
Do you have to dominate the ball? Do you have to?
You haven't got who's the runner apart from Kudos? Who's the runner?
Bergvall, we can run, I guess.
No, but he's not. I don't know. Maybe I'm maybe I'm just expecting too much there.
Maybe
City,
I'm just thinking, Maz, against City, we pressed at certain times. Yeah. We sat deep at certain times. It was a bit of a mix, wasn't it? Yeah. Yes,
but then you had Sarr playing the game of his life.
We had some pace, didn't we? I had Johnson up there with some pace, and we had runners. Whereas against Brighton, we didn't. For me, you know what? I'm really disappointed with the two central. I'm really disappointed with Polinia and Bentancur. Not because the way they played, because I thought they played pretty well. But for me, and listen, I love Bergvall. I think he's a top player. I think he's going to be a top talent and a good player in the years to come. But you would think these two really experienced players would just grab him, because for me, Bergvall was everywhere and nowhere, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
he wanted to be everywhere, involved in everything, and I just wanted one of them to grab him and say, "Calm the fuck down." The second goal was a prime example. Tried getting it on the right hand side and just tried to hoofing it clear instead of just being calm. I would have liked one of the central midfielders just to have a word. I mean, maybe they did, but I just think they need to do that a bit more often, especially with any young player, really.
Yeah, well, with the experience those two have between them, these younger kids should be looking up to them, really, shouldn't they? Especially with Polinia, he is a top quality midfielder. I wanted him 2 seasons ago before he went to Bayern, but who are you going to choose?
I don't think he was a problem. He was doing his job, right? Polinia, he was.
Wait a minute, how many trophies has Polinia won in his career?
Can't remember. One? None?
Really?
Unless he got one under Bayern, but he didn't play much, did he?
No. So really, the player that the midfielder should be looking at is Bentancur, because he won stuff at Juve, and he's come to Spurs and he's won a trophy with Spurs. So, but this is what I mean. This is why you need bring back Conte, right? You need a manager to fire a rocket up Bentancur's arse and say, "Oi, you're much better than this. If you're not going to pull your finger out, you're out of the team." Which is what Conte did, and he got the best out of him. He's that type of player. And if you remember, the ground that Bentancur used to cover up and down the pitch during that time was just immense. He was the definition of a box-to-box during that period. But maybe he hasn't got it anymore. Maybe he's not going to be that player. The
injuries really affect his game plan. But, I mean, and I can vouch for an ACL rupture or even that. It's the most horrendous thing to try and come back from.
Guys, because we did dominate the ball, right? We did dominate the territory. We had Brighton pinned in that, especially in that second half. So I think when we play games like that, especially away from home, when we're dominating that much, we must win the game, right? I think we must win the game. And that's for me, which was disappointing that we didn't win that game. I think it was 2 points dropped. Yeah, because we had the territory, we had the domination. We're going to their ground, right? And I was so frustrated, really, really frustrated with that performance, guys. And I know the quality with Richarlison and left, and I get all that. But I don't know. I'm just left frustrated. I hope that the attacking third does improve. And we need to see Xavi in there. Frank's got to work it out, hasn't he, guys? He has got to work it out, because I feel throughout the whole season, we've struggled to create clear-cut chances. If you think of all the games we've played, yes, we've got some good results. Yeah, but I just think that attacking third is work in progress, and I don't know what the solutions are right now.
Sorry, Psycho Teacher just made me laugh at his comment.
Paulina. Is that right?
Paulina.
Not Paulina.
Felinia. There we go.
But like after the game, guys, a lot of Spurs fans was kind of so proud of the performance and so happy, and I just didn't get it. I thought we were disappointed, but we didn't win. Yeah, we should have won that game with the domination we had of the football. When you dominate games away from home like that, you've got to be winning that game. I hope, obviously, it's early in Frank's time. I know, things hopefully will get better, and we will turn those kind of performances into wins. But guys,
I think I agree with you, Dan, but I just don't think we've got the quality to do it. You got generational Werner 3.0 on the bench who's never going to win you a game of football, right? You got Odegaard, who, let's be honest, is not a £30 million player. He's more of a £10 million player.
I would have said a tenner.
Yeah, right. You got Bergvall, who I think has got massive potential. He looks a really good player. Certainly, if he gets developed right and doesn't get injured and stuff, he can turn into a player. But it's just too early for him, I think. You got Richarlison, who's one of the worst strikers we've seen at Spurs for a very, very long time. You got Solanke. You've got Solanke, who's had one good season in his career, and we bought him for 65 million. Who have you got? Kudus. He's the only one. And that, I mean, you got Kulusevski, I think, would make a big difference to our team if he was in the team now, but he's not. He's injured, unfortunately. And I've always said with Kulusevski, he was always the least of our problems. A lot of people used to moan about him, but we had so many other problems on the pitch. You're like, well, this is the least of our problems out of the squad we had.
I've never really
and you've got Maddison, who, let's face it, I'm sorry to say this, but he's finished. The guy's going to be 30 years old by the time he comes back, I think, right? He's had a major injury. He always gets injured. I can't see him coming back into the team and then being that player. And by then, we're going to be a year down the line anyway.
They should rename himself the Darren Anderton with how much he's been on the recovery bench.
Unless sorry, Dan, I'll just finish off. Sorry, I know I'm babbling on. Unless Xavi comes in, takes up that 10 spot and really starts elevating the players around him and really making things happen, I just think we're going to struggle. And that's not Frank's fault. And obviously we've got Mawani, so let's hope Mawani comes in and he becomes a dog's dangoolies. And
so what was it formation wise? Because Frank plays this 4-3-3. Is he better off playing like a 4-2-1-3? When you have a number 10 behind the forwards, because if you look at the player positioning, and I'll bring it up again because I think it's quite key to why we were struggling. Let me get it up on the screen here. Look, we have nobody in that number 10 position throughout the game creating anything. Everything is coming from the from the width. And I think someone made a comment in the chat. Frank wants us to put crosses in the box, overlapping fullbacks, wingers attacking their fullbacks, creating chances, getting balls in the box time and time again. But problem is you just haven't got that quality finisher up there. So Richarlison can easily get bullied and marked out the game. So, and then you've got no runners into the box. We really did struggle to create those chances. And Brighton did defend quite well, I felt. I did think they did their job. And look, in the end, we found a way. But it was a struggle. Massive struggle, guys.
Words, but I do think we got to try and take some positives from it. Like I say, last season we went there 2-0 up and got demolished in the second half, lost 3-2. I think after 40 minutes, if you had said to me, you're going to draw this 2-2, I'd be like, thank you very much. Yes, on another day we could have won it. But I think it's like it's been said, we just haven't got the quality at the moment. We just haven't got the quality. So I think we're going to see a lot of games like this away from home when we are playing with a midfield three that haven't got a lot of creativity. Because I just think it's the way we're going to play. But
we spent 800 million quid in the last 5 years, right?
I know, it's nuts.
So, and this is why it's not that I agree with you. If you took it in isolation, you take positives out of it. But the fact is, under Levy's stewardship, we spent £700 to £800 million. We blew £400 million that on Ange, Right? Yes, he won us a cup, but he left us as one of the worst squads we've seen in a long time at Spurs. And now we're now in this situation, and I'm not, like I said, I'm going to reiterate, I'm not blaming this on Frank. I think Frank's doing very well. I love the way he speaks. I love how analytical he is. I love how positive he is when he speaks as well. You can just tell he's a great
football man.
coach.
He is
Yeah,
a football man. This is the definition of a good manager, when they're out on the touchline, the technical area, barking at their players, writing down notes throughout the whole of the game. That's what I want to see my manager doing. For 2 seasons, I did not see Ange once really give commands from his technical box, telling the players what to do. He walked around with his hands in his pocket, looking down at the floor. And I went to a match with Rich C. It was the Southampton game last year, just after the first protest, if I remember correctly, or something like that. Walking around with his hands in his pocket. The team's winning, but the stadium was quiet. The match was poor. Solanke was poor. A lot of poor performances, and we only just beat a very average Southampton team. And Frank has come in.
Jimmy in the chat says, how much money was wasted though, Maz? I would say a lot of it was wasted, because if you think at the start, before we spent that £700 million, we got to the Champions League final, and if you fast forward to the end of that spend, have we got a better team or squad versus what we had under Poch? I would say absolutely not. We're nowhere near what Poch had. Nowhere near. No chance. But do we have good players? Yeah, we've got Van der Ven, we've got Romero, we've got, Spence and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, we've got good players. Doesn't mean overall the squad is much better than what we had before. That's the point I'm trying to make.
I feel like we've been let down by transfer windows past with other managers. I think after Pochettino, the only real manager to get something of quality through probably was Conte. Had a style of play that I liked, wasn't backed, called out the club and left. And the only other manager next to him is Jose Mourinho. I mean, after Poch, there wasn't really much that we could celebrate for, was there? Mourinho sacked a week before a cup final, had to work with what was left over. Conte come in, called out the club, and after what Conte said, it woke a lot of fans up, but he still got us to the Champions League with a really shite squad. After Conte got us there, we should have gone, right, you're off the books. I don't care, rip your contract up. If we don't make any money from you, just rip the contracts up, get them out. I was saying that for ages. There was about 6 players back in the Conte era. I wish they just ripped the contract up. And I look at it now going, we wasted all this money on average, very average players. Sorry, I don't rate Johnson whatsoever. He's a tap-in merchant. He doesn't offer nothing apart from tapping in a ball. We've got bang average Solomon. We've got all this crap on the left, stacking up on players on the right, and we've got no real balance on both sides. It's just shocking how this is.
So what do we do then? Let's look at the 2 key areas, right? I want to go on and talk about what Frank had to say after the game in a minute. The left side, I know we talked about it briefly. What does Frank do now? Do we play Solanke when he's fit? And hopefully he can give us more than Richarlison? Left, guys, what are we doing here? What is Frank going to do?
The first thing I want to say is that the first job Frank set out to do is make us solid and not concede goals, and I think he's achieved that. So that's a massive positive. Although we did just concede 2 goals, but hey ho.
But it's been better, isn't it, Maz?
Yeah. We look solid, right? We look, we don't look like we've got like loads of calamities in us. The players sort of know what they're doing, and that's fantastic. And I do think that we're starting to see how good Van der Ven is as well. He's not the finished article, still a young man, really.
He's not just that one-trick pony defender that runs back.
No.
He is a good defender.
Yeah, he's a good defender. I can't wait to see what he's like. If he remains injury-free, I cannot wait to see what he's like when he's like 26, 27 years old. Because if he progresses and we're a good team, he'll be an absolute monster.
Keeps away from those injuries, because last season he was injured, weren't he, Van der Ven?
But then you can put that down to Ange's system and his tactics, having the players sit so high up on the line and making your only guy with pace run back. You are going to pull your hamstring. Constantly running back like that, my God.
Yeah, I think what Frank has got to do is and this, I don't think this is massively radical, but he's got to make sure that Xavi, Kudus, and let's say Mawani are in that team playing well, and then hopefully whoever he does stick with on the left feeds off of them playing well. Because
who is that man then? Who is that man for you? Because you said about Tell earlier, didn't you?
Well, I don't want. Look, I call Tell Werner 3.0. I think he's one of the worst footballers I've ever seen at Spurs. He can prove me wrong. You know, I implore him to prove me wrong. Please prove me wrong. But when people say I see something in him, they're lying. Right? Because
you know what, man,
right?
You know what they've
said. He's not super fast, but listen, he's not super fast, right? He's average pace. He's not got really, really good close trickery in his feet. He can't. You can tell he's not a super duper shot taker. You know, he's not like smashing balls in for 25 yards, like fizzing them in and causing the keepers to save. The goal he did score last season, he didn't even know that the ball hit him and it went in. Right? What does he do?
He that warrants the £45 million fee, then, doesn't it? Come off him. What?
He can't beat a man. I'm honestly, I just when I think of him, I just think, how has he managed to come to Spurs?
Do you want to know what
whereas
it is?
With Odegaard, at least you can see him do some skill and take on a player, and you can see something in him. But Tell is 45 million quid, and I haven't seen him beat one player. Actually, I did see him beat players. He beat two players, and it's because the ball ricocheted off the defender, ricocheted off him, and went past those two players, and he ran onto it. That's the only time I've seen him beat a player, and I've been like, okay, well done.
He's awful.
No.
Oh, you know when you get fans saying, "Oh, I see something in him," it's the same video that Bayern saw when he was 16. That's what it is. Oh, this kid's good. While he's playing in the under-16s. Yeah, of course he can flick a trick over in the French under-16s division. Jesus Christ. He's not good. I even said back then, 2 years ago, when Bayern brought him, I was like, Bayern, why? There are better younger players out there that you could get that'll actually get into your team. He spent, 2 years at Bayern and played a handful of goals, 20 goals as 20 games as a sub, and that's like last 2 minutes of a match. I never really saw him play properly.
Frank's already come out, hasn't he, and said, I mean, he said after the game that when they were talking about Xavi, that he can play in the 10, but he can also play on the left. So I see him doing both. I see Xavi playing as much on the left as he does in the 10. I don't know what you guys think about that.
What kind of give him the free roll? Give him like the free roll. You're on the left, but I want you to own that that part of the pitch and left, and then drift in, or do you just want it to be going down that left wing all the time? Because if that's what Frank wants him to do, be on the left wing, drift in every now and then, or use himself as pace to bring in a ball, then yeah, I can see that happening. But I want Xavi in the middle. That is where he plays his best football.
He's played equally on the left and the centre throughout his career, and I think his stats show that he does sort of equally well on both sides. However, I've seen quite a lot of Xavi throughout his career. Because of his appearance, he always stood out as a player, and obviously he's a good player as well. And I want to see him in the middle because I think he's more devastating in that position, and that's the position we need the most. As important as the left side is for us.
You also got to look at some of these players that are injured, like Kulu. I mean, I know he's not the greatest, but he's got to sit there and think, hell, damn, this kid's come in. He's a lot better than me. I've probably got up my game, or Tottenham are going to sell me, and I'm really hoping, right, thank you, Kulu, thanks for what you've done, mate, but you've been injured too much. You're just about as average as most of the other players that have been brought in under the last tenure of this ownership. Some of these players that are brought in under this last ownership, they need to really address and sell on the cheap and get them off the books, and then go out and reinvest some of this money into new, younger, hungrier players that actually offer something. I've got to look at like transfer windows past. got Solomon on the cheap. You got Tell and Odeber and all these very average players coming into our club, and we shouldn't be looking at the players that have gone down with their clubs or the very average. We should be looking at just a level underneath Kane or just the same level as Kane. But I know we can't attract those kind of players because of the way we played for the last 2 years. Now we've finally got a very good manager in. We might actually start attracting some of these better players.
I just want to respond to, is it AK Shegs? We're saying, we're being negative. But no, we're analysing the game, right? And we're trying to make sense of what we saw. I mean, overall, it's been a great start to the season. So I'm not sure why he thinks we're being negative. We're not criticising Frank or the players, apart from the players that deserve criticism, which haven't done anything in a Spurs shirt yet.
This is what we do, man. We analyse the games, because I was disappointed that we didn't win the game with all that dominance of the ball.
I would say 2 points dropped. It is 2 points dropped.
And basically what we were talking about is, what is Frank going to do with that left and the striker position? We got 3 forwards: Mawani, Richarlison, Solanke. Which one is going to hold that position down?
I think Mawani's a shoo-in, Dan, to be fair. I mean, like, you don't have to see much of him to know that he's a much more competent forward than Solanke and Richarlison.
You could stitch them two together and they still wouldn't make a left foot of what Mawani is.
Yeah. So let's just. I think the shining the real positive.
Are you writing him all off? Because I want to see him in Frank's system. I want to. Got to give the guy a bit of time.
I didn't want him when we signed him. He's such a bang.
We've got him. He's not going anywhere, is he? We need to use him.
When you say writing him off, what is there? What made you think that he was on to begin with?
Well, before he came to us, he had a good season, so he might be able to find that form back.
But you don't make a decision on one good
season.
I'm just thinking of solutions. I don't listen, guys. I think we need a top striker at the club. But what I'm thinking is, what is Frank going to do?
I'm not saying that you're the Solanke's biggest fan or anything like that, Dan. All I'm saying is that, unfortunately for Solanke, is we bought him for big money based off the fact that he had one good season effectively at
to release the
Cherries, right? So it's for me, when the club spends big money on a striker, I don't want to say, oh yeah, I'll give him a chance, I'll give him time. Sorry, mate, you come in and you got to start scoring goals. Like Chelsea, when they buy their strikers and they don't score, they don't hold on to them for the next 5 seasons hoping that they're going to score. They give them a season.
Yeah, but did we see a lot of these players fail under Ange, though, Mass? This is the thing, isn't it? Yeah, Ange's system did get the best out of Solanke. I don't think so.
No, granted, and I think that's a point well made. And off that fact and the fact that he's been injured, yeah, of course you can't just write him off. But I think I've seen enough of Solanke over the years to know that he's never going to be the player that we need at Spurs. If he can manage to get 10, 11, 12 goals in the season, for Solanke, that's a good season, right?
Yeah. And then I'll add to your point there, Maz. There's a reason why Chelsea and Liverpool let both those teams let that guy go. He's had one good season in 10 years of being a professional. I'm sorry, the guy just isn't that great.
Who?
He isn't.
Solanke
just isn't that great. We've probably got you better in the youth team that we've probably chucked out on loan. I'm just saying. I've never rated Solanke. There's a reason why both Liverpool, Chelsea binned him off.
Listen, I'm not Solanke's biggest fan, but I do think it's a bit harsh to say that Chelsea binned him off. Chelsea also binned off Salah and, De Bruyne. They did okay. But listen, I agree. Look, Solanke's not the answer, is he? And let's be fair. Mawani's only here for this season. Next season, I'd like to see Richarlison and Solanke sold, and I want us to freshen up that strike force totally. But for now, I want to see Mawani. That's what he's been.
But Nige, you know what the problem is with the example you gave, right?
Yeah,
is that when they binned off those players went on to their next club and performed. Whereas when they binned off Solanke, he was still crap.
Well, look, we're hoping.
They binned him off and he went to Holland and he was shit in Holland. So
with Solanke, we're only hoping that he can give us something because we need to score goals. If we want to do anything this season, we need goals. We need them
don't
from
need a new
somewhere.
goalkeeper. Gordon.
I mean, that's an issue, but we'll, yeah, that's the point. What do you reckon of the shot? Should Vicario should have saved that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah.
Keepers make howlers all the time. Come on.
I think Vicario's got enough credit in the bank with the saves that he's done to say, yeah, it is what it is. You know, it's a good shot. They scored. You know, look, I think again, Vicario at the moment is the least of our worries. I think he's a good keeper. I think that, you know, in the big games, he's proven that he's you know, he can hack it in the big games. He's played well in the big games as well. You know, the final proves that he you know, he's got that in him. And he's still relatively young as well, right? For a goalkeeper. Yeah, so
keepers normally hit their prime.
I think we need to get off his back a little bit and let him develop, let him be coached. There's nothing. A keeper needs a solid defense in front of him. I don't care what keeper you are. If you've got a solid defense in front of you with confidence, you know, with the players know what they're doing, that is, you know, for them, 9/10 of the law. If you get what I mean, that's what gives them confidence.
My main gripe with Vicario for being a fantastic shot stopper is the lack of command of box. I'm a goalkeeper myself. You must command that box from
he hasn't got that
line.
Physicality, though, is he? He's quite a slight keeper.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, from your line to that penalty spot, you need to control it as a goalkeeper. That's what I was taught as a young kid when I was going through the youth ranks. Your average area is from your line to that spot, that penalty spot. That is where you should really be focusing. Your defenders should be in front of that penalty spot, wiping up and cleaning up and breaking everything up. You're there to make the goal and angle smaller. Now, the lack of control of his understanding in that position, like coming up the catch on crosses and stuff like that, there's just a lack of the command of it, and he's hoping for the defenders.
Can he
to clear
get better
away.
though, Corey? Can Vicario improve that? Do
Yes.
you feel with the right coaching he can get there?
I mean, we brought in a very good goalkeeping coach, didn't we, when we brought in Frank? So we've now got that very good goalkeeping coach that can maybe unearth this missing piece of Vicario's game that we all can see from a mile off. Yes, he's a fantastic shot stopper. He's like the old-fashioned goalkeeper. You defend your line, you make a save. I can't take any of this new nonsense goalkeeper crap. As an old-fashioned goalkeeper myself, I want to keep the ball out the net. I don't want to be playing with my feet. You're going to pass me the ball, I'm going to hoof it up the pitch. That's me as a goalkeeper.
And the positive is that Vicario did do that game, right?
He did.
He didn't hold on to the ball. He hoofed it when he needed to hoof it. I like that, and that's a positive from the game. I did notice that. I thought when I wanted him to get rid of the ball, he got rid of the ball. Whereas under Ange, you know that he would have held on to it and looked sideways to see if he could pass it.
Maybe it's just because I'm an old school purist goalkeeper. You know, I was brought up in a very old fashioned way when I was going through the youth ranks. Literally, like if you haven't got a pass on, you put it out into midfield or put it up into your opposition's box. If you can kick through the ball, get rid of it out of your 6-yard area. All right, understood, coach. Every game, I would never really look for that pass to the side. I would look for either a midfielder open up top, or I would just put it into the opposition's end. Just put my foot through it. I don't want my goalkeepers to be taking 2-3 touches with their feet to get dispossessed in the box and the goal happen. Sorry, put your foot through it. Clear it.
Guys, let's move on to what Frank says, and then we're going to wrap this game up, and we're going to kind of come to a decision of if we think it was 2 points dropped or 1 point gained. So Frank's talking a lot about this one. I think about the performance. He thinks it's Tottenham's most complete performance. Again, I don't agree with this. He's talking about, I know we conceded 2 goals. It's never that black and white. So one thing we'll say is I should take it. The second one okay, we conceded a goal. That can happen. It's just Premier League. It's good. But besides that, I thought we defended well. I think we defended well overall. overall, I think the high pressure was very aggressive and we were winning the ball back more or less all the time, which we like to do. I think phase one, we got out every time, more or less. We controlled it up there. We created so many good opportunities and had to counter press and rest defending crosses. So there was a lot of bits that we like to do because of that. And then on top of that, the mentality to come back from 2 goals down. So look, he's very positive about the performance, although we didn't get the win. Do you agree with what Frank has said there? Or do you think it's just motivational stuff?
I agree with most. Well, I agree with most of it. I mean, we'll never know what they're looking at in terms of what aspects that they've done better that he's looking for versus what we think. But I don't agree it's a complete performance, because really the complete performance was against Man City.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. 100%. That's what I was thinking.
A Man City
that was
game.
A complete performance. Yeah.
Yeah. We did everything well in that game. I don't think there was any aspect that we did poorly in that Man City game. So,
but the one thing that got me about after that Man City game is playing Bournemouth and playing the way we did. I was so hyped after that Man City game. Then we went off and played the way we did against Bournemouth, and I was like, "What's going on?" We played like warriors against City, and we come back and we got bullied off the ball by Bournemouth.
Yeah. But I'm glad. You know what though? I'm sort of glad that happened, because that makes him see what we see as
exactly.
fans.
Well, welcome to Tottenham.
Yeah, like they did that to Ange, right? When he did the Fulham game, when he played, when he changed the whole team.
Was it 9 players?
Yeah, and it's a similar sort of thing in a way, where they just let him down, and yeah, it's good that Frank sees this in that game than in a cup game, let's say, because I think Frank should take all the cups seriously and try and win one, regardless of whether he gets sacked or not. I think we'll all love to see another cup coming.
He did say that today. Yeah, he's going to take.
I can't see this club sacking Frank, because honestly, he is the best thing we've had since really Jose Conte. In between that, we've had some pretty.
We're jumping ahead. We're jumping ahead too far at the moment. We don't know yet.
It's just how I see it as with Frank. He's very analytic. He understands football. I can't see him being sacked because we don't have Levy anymore.
He will get sacked. He will get sacked at some point. Of course he will. He'll have to. I thought maybe according to Frank, it was the most complete performance. Like Maz said, maybe Frank's looking at different things than what us as fans are. Maybe the way the fullbacks went forward, maybe the way the midfield were. I don't know, but to him it was a complete performance. To me, no, it wasn't. But I do think it was decent. I do think it was a decent performance. And for me, I cut to it. I thought it was a point gained, because 2-0 down coming up to half time. Like I say, for the last year, I've watched us lose a lot of games. So for me to get a point after being 2-0 down, I think is a point gained personally.
But I will add to that though, like the 2 seasons under Ange, we would go off and lose games if we were that far behind 2, 3, 4, 5-0. But it's nice to actually see a manager come in now after the last 2 years and actually look at the players and go, right, this is what I've got. I know I need to work with this, but this is my tactics. This is my system. I understand football to a degree that other managers are on the same level with me and in the Premier League. I just feel like the last 2 years we was had by a very good salesman, but not a very good manager. He was a very good con man, believing he was a good manager. It's all well and good winning your trophies with Celtic.
Corey, you keep going back to Ange, man. He's yeah, you got to move on from him, man. Then he's not our problem anymore, man. Honestly.
Oh, he's not in Forest now. He's not in Forest.
I get it, Corey, because he's haunted us from last season, man. That was it's hard to get rid of him from your mind after,
Daddy, did you watch his face there when they lost 3-2 to, was it Swansea? Did you see him on the sideline? It hurt. It actually hurt me a little bit. I was like, God, I can remember that. But it was nice to see.
Let's go on to what he said about the 20 and 30%. Let me just bring that up. Nige, could you deal with this one? I've just got to pop away a second. Let me just get this on the screen. Hold on, here we go. Can you see that, guys? Yeah. Have a read of that. This is what Frank has got a history of, obviously improving players. He's done it at Brentford. I don't know if you can get even 5% more out of a Richarlison, to be honest. But look, crack on to that one, and I'll be back in a sec.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Guys, give it a read. What do you think?
I think as a I'm not a coach, but let's say as a manager and a leader in my previous life, you got to give your players confidence and give them the mindset that they will improve under his management and leadership. Even if you think that some of them won't improve, you've got to tell them that they will improve and drum that into them. And then obviously it's up to then his coaching team to make that happen.
Reverse psychology, isn't it? If the players aren't great, you got to still tell them, look, mate, you still got a chance here.
Yeah, you got to just say to them, your ceiling's high, and fill them with confidence and belief that they can do it. I mean, let's be honest. If you remember when Jose came in, I didn't think that Jose was going to make Harry Kane take another step up in his career, and Son as well. When all of a sudden he got those two firing on all cylinders.
Could put that down to the Jose effect. Wherever he's been, he's won, apart from with us, and he was close to winning, but got sacked for not prioritising the game against Southampton and not thinking about the league. Oh, sorry, the league game, not the cup game. And the letting Jose go the way we did was a massive mistake, because that season alone, we'd beaten City twice. He already had not Conte's number, Pep's number twice that season. So we didn't lose to them, and it's just absolutely crazy to think that we did this to a top manager. Then we bring in another top manager in Conte, a win now manager. He needed those players to come in to play his football, didn't get it, and then he called the club out and left. So, there's been a lot of negative things from managers, but seeing this with Frank, this is what I love about Frank. We can play good, we can play poorly, but he'll break it down, analyze it better, speak better to the fans and to the press, what he liked, what he didn't like, compared to what we've had before in the past. He's a very understanding manager. He reminds me of Harry Redknapp. He'll put his arm around a player and get the best out of him,
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I love Frank so far. I think he's doing everything right. I'm not sure whether he's going to be able to get an extra 5 or 10% out of the likes of Richarlison, though. But guys, we will see. Is there anyone else in the side that you think maybe he could get better off? I think Sarr has started pretty well under Frank.
Look, Frank is a good coach, but it's whether he translates that to doing the same things he done at Brentford at Tottenham, right? But so far, he's added structure to the team. Like Sarr's playing better. I think Van der Ven's benefited massively from the defensive structure. I think Spence, looks much better than even what he did under Ange when he came in. Even Porro, I think, is making less mistakes now than what he did under Ange. And Romero's a weird one, because you sort of don't know what Romero you're going to get until he starts playing, right? You're either going to get the I'm brilliant Romero or the Romero that isn't so good, which is a bit of a weird one.
The consistency of Romero, Maz, has got to be better throughout the season.
I think he's just one of those players that needs to be G'd up for the game. Like,
game player.
He's always G'd up for the big games, so he thrives on that competitiveness, doesn't he? Whereas I think against the lesser teams, I think sometimes he can think, this is just a lesser team, so I don't need to be as good. Maybe not. Maybe he'll get that consistency under Frank. But I think we have to wait and see. I think he can improve some of the players. I'm not sure that the players that he will improve are ultimately going to be the ones that we sort of need him to improve. So, Van der Ven will improve. I think Spence will get better. I think Porro may get better defensively. I'm not so sure about going forward, but he'll get better defensively. But I'm not sure whether he's going to improve Paulinho. Is he going to improve Bentancur? Is he going to improve Odegaard? Is he going to improve I'm not sure about that, if I'm honest with you, because I think Bentancur I really like as a player, so I don't want to say that he's not going to improve, but certainly the rest of them I'm just not sure whether they've got it in themselves to improve under the coaching.
I've got a question in the chat, Ryan. Evening to you. Do you think Frank should prioritise Porro and the doggies' attacking qualities over Spence's defensive qualities? Guys, what do you think about that?
I think you should be looking at doing both, maybe. I think it all depends on what games we play, doesn't it? We're gonna play more attack in some games, and I think Spence is a really important part of the squad. I really do. Whether he's left back or right back, I think we need him for his defensive qualities. I would like to see Porro and a doggy maybe pushed on, maybe as wing backs when we play three at the back, if we play three at the back. But I can't see him doing that if Tottenham are playing a flat back four, to be honest. I think Frank likes his structure, and I can't see him letting fullbacks bomb forward all the time. I don't know. I might be wrong, but yeah, I don't know. Difficult question.
For me, I like a balance of one that attacks and one that defends. So for me, the Spence-Porro combo works better than having just a Dogie and Porro playing.
Don't you think it breaks down though, Corey? When Spence is on that left back, he's always got to cut in. He can't cross the ball from the left. I just find he's a great at defending and one-on-one against good wingers, but we lack that when we haven't got a natural left back. We lacked something, don't you think, or not?
I'm in that old term sort of sense of if you can defend, you know how to play. Regardless of if you can cut in and cross or not, Spencer's a very good defender.
Plus, the left winger is rubbish.
The left winger doesn't really help Spence's thing. That's why I said earlier on about why not have Spence playing at left back and having a Dogie as your left winger, right? You could train a Dogie really to play left wing. He can probably do a better job than anything that we've got. And then that way we've got the balance of Spence and a Dogie out on the left with Porro playing with Kudos. I just feel like that would be a better fit for us if we're going to go forward with it. I've been saying it to quite a few of my friends, and they've been saying I'm crazy for that idea. But I was like, why not give it a try? It can't be any better or any worse than what we have.
What would you do, Corey? Say that again.
I would have Spence at left back with a Dogie on left wing, having him be the left winger. Training, he's young. He could do it. It doesn't quite work. I have a good left wing, but then if we don't have any decent left winger, I mean, I would still put a Dogie over anything at left wing at what we've got, and then I would have Spence playing at left back. So I just think it's a better choice and a better fit for us than having Tel and Oda shirt. Sorry, it's just my honest opinion on the left wing. That's the way we could solve it for a while.
Can you imagine the confidence of these players, Corey? Tells, Wilsons, Johnsons. If Frank starts playing a fullback as a left winger, they just end their careers at Spurs.
Well, I don't rate Johnson anyway, so
I get what you're saying there.
It's just my honest opinion. If you're going to have a defender that can defend and then Porro bombs forward, then you could have Spence there, and he could be in the free with Van der Ven and Kuti, or when Danso plays, or when Dragusin plays when he's back from injury. You could have that free at the back with Polini sitting in front. That way you could have a Dogie going forward, because he's very good at going forward, a Dogie, but he's not that great at coming back and really defending like Spence can. So I would say to a Dogie, right, we're now going to train you as a left winger. I want you to play where these guys are failing and show us what you can do. And then if it doesn't work out, then you can just chop and change between the three players, and then say hopefully something comes up in January, like an opportunist signing for the left wing. We go, right, boom, we'll have this guy in January. Then we can get rid of the crap and the awfulness that we've signed over the last few years at left wing. That's what I'm hoping, but that's just an honest opinion on how I would solve this left wing situation.
Fair enough. It's your opinion, man. Maz, what do you reckon?
I think that Udogie has to stay fit first for an extended period of time before you start moving him around the pitch, to be honest with you. And he needs to, if you are going to start moving him around, I think he needs to solidify his position first in the team and then give him that responsibility to do that. In terms of prioritizing offensive versus defensive attributes, look, the thing is, what you don't want to do is do an Ange situation where you're relying on your fullbacks to be your attacking threat, and then leaving the back exposed because you're trying to make them do something that ideally you want your forwards to do. So I'm not necessarily in favour of trying to make the defenders do more than what they already are. That's what you got forwards for, unless he changes the system. And I can't really see him doing that. Even if he does the far, if he plays five at the back, then that gives obviously those defenders an opportunity to do that. But I'm not sure how often he's going to deploy that, if I'm honest with you. I think he's going to stick mainly to a back four, and I think he's made his mind up on that. Just to answer your question from earlier, Dan, what does he do about that left side? Again, he needs to pick a player, stick with him and work on him, and hope that the players around him play really well to uplift them and give them confidence.
Yeah,
and see what happens.
Yeah, I agree, man. Got to stick to one player.
There's a but though. I don't think it can be Johnson, because he's another one who can't beat his man, doesn't do anything in the game apart from get at that back post and tap in a goal. So he's good at that. Give him that. But he's not our winger long term, is he?
No. It's interesting in the chat. People like Udogie to be a left winger. Some think keeping left back. For me, I prefer a left back who has got a left foot. I need to see more from Udogie. He's got a lot to prove to me. Yeah, I'm not sure about him. I'm hoping that he'll come good under Frank, but he's got a lot of work to do, I think. Find that consistency. He's got to deliver in games, and I hope he gets a consistent run in the side. But it's the problem, isn't it? Because Frank likes Spence. What's he going to do? I think Porro's going to need a break. Can't play every match. So, maybe put Spence on the right and see what he can do. Give Udogie a run of games. The fixtures coming up, the next two games are, they're very, very winnable. Yeah, so...
we can't beat Doncaster then when there's something wrong with our team.
Yeah, I just like Udogie had that natural width, who could get down that byline, and I want to see more of him now. Kind of jury's out on him for me, to be honest. And like Binny Guy said, he does some good things well, but, I'd never see him putting a top cross from the left, like Porro. Porro is good at crossing, getting those balls in. Udogie, for me, I don't know. He likes to run into the box, doesn't he? He's got a lot of energy, a lot of pace, a lot of power. But I think there's a lot of work to do with him. So, guys, let's just wrap up this game. So, just go around the panel. Was it 2 points dropped or 1 good point gained? Nige, go for it, mate.
As I said earlier, for me, 2-0 down, point gained. Point gained.
Fair enough.
Yep,
Corey?
same.
Yeah.
Point gained.
Not 2 drops?
Yeah, it's not 2 drops. It's point gained because previous we would have just capitulated and folded quicker than we can fold our underwear. So, yeah, it's a point gained.
Okay, Maz,
Yep.
yours the same, yeah? Point
Same.
gained. I think it was 2 dropped. Yeah, when you dominate a game like that away from home, you've got to be taking the 3 points. I hope that, when we see us play away from home against a decent opposition, I hope that we turn those draws into wins. So let's see. So guys, I know we've kind of touched on it throughout the conversation. We're sitting third in the league, 10 points out of 5 games. Is this what you guys expected, this sort of start of the season? Are you fairly happy how it's gone game to game? Where are you all at? Because I haven't spoken to Maz or Corey since the start of the season. So I just want a little bit more of your thoughts on our start to the season, guys.
For me, it's been very positive because we've barely conceded. We look more solid as a defensive unit as well as in midfield. It's just literally the left-hand side. We keep touching on it. It's literally the left-hand side that is our problem in our team right now. Everywhere looks great apart from that left side, and that is where I'm kind of just really focused on at the moment. When people are calling Vicario bad, I don't really think they understand what a goalkeeper's main job to do is to keep the ball out the net. For me, it's really good because, like last season, how many games did it take for us to get a win at the start of the season? How many goals did we concede in the first 5 to 10 games of last season? Compare that to now. We've gone 5 games in the league, lost 1, won 3 and won 1. That's a really good start. Conceded 3 goals in 5 games. I think it's positive. It's a really good start for us.
Yeah, fair enough. Maz, what do you make of it so far? Are you fairly happy with how it's all started this season? I know it's early, and I know before we went on stream, you were kind of like, let's wait until the games keep coming thick and fast, up until Christmas.
Yeah, the crunch point is that Christmas period when the games come thick and fast. That's what effectively started the demise of Ange when that period came. If you remember when in Pochettino's first season, the first half of the season we were quite poor, and then all of a sudden, the latter half of his first season, everything started to you could start see things clicking and his philosophy coming through. So that's what I'm looking for with Frank to see. During that Christmas period and after that Christmas period, are we really then going to start seeing his philosophy really like kick in and show positives? Look, so far so good. I'm going to judge Frank like I guess I do every manager. Maybe that's a little bit disingenuous. Like with Jose and Conte, because their history and their quality, I guess you give them a bit more grace. Because you trust in their experience and what they've achieved, that things will come good. If you back them and stick with them. It's a bit different with Ange, obviously, and Frank, because one is a PE teacher, another one is a good coach. That this is his first major job, right? But so far so good. I'm pleased with him. Like I said, I love his communication. I think he's good tactically from a defensive standpoint. He's made us solid, or so far we look solid. I do have concerns with the attacking portion of the game, whether he can unlock, the players that we have at our disposal. But I can't judge ill of him because we're sitting third, right? And we're joint points with Arsenal. I think are we joint points with Arsenal at the moment?
Same record, yeah.
So what we've got to be miserable about.
Fair enough. That's a good assessment, Maz and Corey. Nige, what's your assessment of it all so far?
Yeah, very similar. To be fair, if take the Bournemouth game out of it, I think it's been a fantastic start to the season. I think, I expected us to start slowly. Frank has apparently every club he's been at, he started slow. The fact that we've got 10 points already is good. The Bournemouth performance does worry me. It was a concerning defeat because it wasn't just a defeat. We got absolutely battered that game. But on the whole, really positive. A lot like Maz, I am concerned about the attacking part. Big up Dexterous. That really, that worries me. That we have enough quality up there. But listen, we're in the top 3. It's been a good start to the season. A lot bigger games to come. But really happy with the start.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, for me, I think it's been a solid start. I think what can I say? I called it the other day. I think we're a functional side right now. I think we're defending a lot better. There's clear structure to the side. Definitely, a lot of work's gone into that defence. The positioning, Paulinia coming in has helped strengthen that midfield. Bentancur's been playing okay, I think. I mean, obviously, the big question is we want Xavi in that number 10. Frank said that he's not going to rush him in there, so we hope that he does starting him in that number 10, because we all saw when he came on that little bit of extra quality he had where he could skip past players, spread the play. He was brave to have shots. We need him in the side. I'm afraid, guys, he's got to be playing most games. Obviously, can't play every week, but we need to see him in the side. I would like to see Mawani given a run up front. And then, as I said a bit earlier, I want to see Frank stick with a left-sided player. If that is Wilson, just give him a run of games, try and build his confidence up. I think Wilson, he's tidy, but he's not brave enough. He's got to try and take on his fullback. He's got to try, because he just plays things too safe, in my opinion. I think Kudos has done well, but I do think Kudos needs to work on his final ball. I think he does a lot right. Hopefully that will come. And we start creating more clear-cut chances, and we start, getting more goals, and I can feel a bit more confident. I am really worried about us in the creativity. I'm not too sure how Frank is going to solve it yet. Got to give it time, of course, and hopefully, as those suggestions of those players coming in will improve us naturally. But look, where we are, what is it? 3 wins, 1 defeat, 1 draw. We've got a fairly decent run coming up in this first part of the season. So there's a lot of winnable fixtures. So the ideal situation would be for us to kind of keep around that top 4, top 5 area coming into the kind of Christmas period, January, and then see the board invest into the squad to help us, in all these competitions that we're in. Champions League, I didn't think we were great last week. But again, it's Frank's first game in the Champions League. Some of these players, haven't played in the Champions League. You hope that will grow into that competition. Yeah. Again, the games that we have in the Champions League, I feel that we can win. We can win a lot of those games and try and qualify in that top 8. But that performance against Villarreal showed me last week that there's a bit of work to do there. Yeah, I'm not 100% convinced. But Doncaster on Wednesday, winnable game. Got to be winning that. And Wolves at the weekend. So, look, it's a lot of positive stuff for Spurs.
I just want to come in with a point, Dan.
Go for it.
You know what can really hamper Frank this season is if he doesn't get Xavi, Mawani, and Kudos clicking, we're in big trouble. Big trouble. So, your optimism about maybe finishing 5th or 4th or finishing
No,
the top
I don't
8
think we'll finish there yet.
I'm just saying
keeping up there, and then obviously that would be great if we could be in around that European positions going into the second part of the season. That's what we all want as fans, right? We want to be pushing for Europe. We want to be, going up. Yeah, not like last season where we were like 17th.
No, indeed. I'm just saying that if those players that we brought in don't click under Frank's system, I think we'll be in big trouble. Because where Andrew's system was a bit different is he just pumped everyone forward, right? And then and because of his rainbow technique of passing it around the box a billion times and then smashing it into someone's knees for them to tap in, right? We've got quite a few goals using that method, and that hides the need for that quality that we need to, because of that tactic, I guess, a little bit. Under Frank's system, if our forward players aren't playing well, i.e. Kudos, Xavi, Mawani, the ones that we currently have, we're in big trouble. I don't think we'll lose loads of games. I don't think it's going to be like an Ange situation where we're just getting pumped every week. That's not what I'm saying. I just can't see us picking up the wins that we need to finish in that top 6, top 5.
Where do you think we are, Maz, in kind of comparing our teams with other teams in around us?
I'm not going to
any
pretend.
idea?
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend that I know. I'm just being honest. I don't know where we are. I hope that we can finish, 8th, 7th, 6th, something around there or better. I really hope that we can do that. But if I'm truthful, I've got no idea where we are. And this is
I don't know what type of team we are.
No.
At the moment, guys, I really don't know what we are right now. And it's early. Yeah, hopefully we'll find out. But I don't know what type of team we are.
Because that 2-0 loss that we had, you just don't know whether that's going to rear its ugly head every now and again and just stop us from progressing.
What 2-0 loss? What?
Against Bournemouth. Yeah, that is what worries me. That's still in the locker, right? I don't think that's going to go away. We're going to have these runs where we're doing well, and then we're just going to drop one of those in.
Yeah, you can't win every game. We're going to drop points. We're going to lose games.
No, but in the manner in which we lose the points, that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, it was a very poor day, wasn't it? Tactically by Frank, he didn't change anything other than the substitutions. Areola outcoached him that day. Got to be honest here. It was poor, but as you said, Maz, earlier, that Frank didn't take this is what I like about Frank, right? He takes responsibility. And when we were losing games last season, Ange would always say, "Oh, we played well." He never addressed it. He never admitted that he got his tactics wrong, and this is what I like about Frank. He's not scared to say, "Look, yeah, that was on me." I don't know. It's so early in it, though, guys. We just don't know, do we?
It is early, and everything I've seen so far tells me that we're going to have an okay season. We're probably not going to be challenging for a Champions League place, but I actually don't think we're too far off it. I look at the other sides, and I look at the top 4 to top 4. I look at Newcastle probably in around 5th, might challenge for 4th. The rest, I think, they're all much of a muchness. Villa, I thought would be brilliant this season. They've been average so far. It is early, but I think we're up there in that top 6th, 7th. So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Well, let's just have a little look, right? What we've seen so far. I know it's only 5 games in, and what we've seen so far. I don't know if you guys watch other games or catch up match of the day, listen to whatever kind of social media you listen to. Obviously, Liverpool have impressed. They've won every game. Okay, there's been some late winners, but they've got so much quality, haven't they? In that forward line, they spent $250 million on their forwards. For me, they're favourites right now, right? And then you've got Arsenal. Guys, guys come in with what you think, what you've seen. Just teams have impressed you, haven't impressed you. You've kind of been surprised. Again, it's early, I know, but for what we've seen and why I'm asking this question is, where are we fitting in amongst all of this lot?
I feel like we're anywhere between 4th and 7th for us right now. Again, I look at other teams. I look at what United spent on their forward line. People going on about Buemo and everything being like the next big thing for them, and all the money they've spent, and they've not really done it. The only team to have go out and spent the money like they have is Liverpool, and they've really impressed me so far. Arsenal, Gyökeres really hasn't done much since the hat-trick. I just want to believe that we can finish as high as we can this season. Anywhere between 4th and 7th, I'll be happy. As long as we get some sort of European competition next season to carry on from last year to this year, and then carry on again to bring in another top quality player or two to really get this team going. And then if we can clear out some of the always injured or not good enough players over the next season and a half, I will be very happy.
I don't understand that. I mean, there's a different there's a difference between where we're at now and where we should be at. And for me, we should be finishing in the top four. One, because of the amount of money we spent, and two, Ange finished fifth in his first season. So while
But he wasn't in the Champions League, though, was he?
No, but regardless of that, I mean, whether or not he's in the Champions League for me is immaterial. You
can't compare like for like, though, Mass, can you? Because Frank has got more games this season. What are you coming at? What angle are you coming at us?
Well, but it's fine. But then, then the discussion moves on to did Ange throw all of the cup games just to concentrate on the league in his first season? Was that his tactic all along? He'll probably say it was. Yeah, mate, I planned all of it. Right? But it's regardless of the fact that he still finished fifth. And I don't.
He should have finished fourth, mate. To be honest, he should have finished fourth. Yeah.
And fine, Frank has got more games. Fine, he's got the Champions League and ever. But again, why are we giving us sort of excuses for finishing lower than where we should be finishing? We've just spent 700-800 million quid. We're I think the third or fourth highest spending club in the Premier League in the last 5-6 years. So why are we expecting to finish or being happy with finishing sixth? We shouldn't. I feel conned that we never kicked on from Pochettino's time. So I don't like this. I expect us to finish fifth or sixth, and I'm happy with that. I don't like that at all. We need to kick on as a club, otherwise there's just no point. We're finishing fifth and sixth and stuff, a decade ago. So we should be finishing a lot better now. We should
but Maz, Frank's first season, he's come in, new signings, blah blah blah. He's picking up an Ange. A lot of these Ange players that we know, a lot of those signings under Ange were, and I know we spent a lot of money on them. It's just the recruitment's not been good enough, has it?
The recruitment hasn't been good in about 10, 15 years, to be honest.
Yeah, so why do we expect to finish fourth, fifth, or push it any higher with that poor recruitment?
I believe we should
expect to finish fourth. Doesn't mean we will because of the reasons you said. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the distinction I'm trying to make. I'm saying we shouldn't be happy that we're finishing seventh or sixth. We should be expecting to finish as high up the table as possible, given the stature of the club, given the amount of money we spent, etc., etc.
Okay, I'll get you.
But the realistic, the realistic prediction is that we will finish sixth or seventh, because that's where Levy and his cronies have left us in terms of recruitment policy, changing of managers, etc., without covering all of that stuff.
I just want to pick up on Peter's comment now. I don't understand. Are we talking about Frank not winning anything, or the fact that Frank actually has a lot of respect from all his peers across all the different clubs he's been at? Or are we talking about the one guy that has only won stuff in tin pot leagues in Japan and Scotland? I'm sorry, but I've got no coaching badges, and I could coach Scott the Celtic to a winning mentality in that piss poor division in Scotland. Sorry. Maz could do it, Dan could do it, Nige could do it, my 5-year-old son could do it with Celtic. I'm sorry. I'm wondering if that's what you mean.
Well, but Peter doesn't rate Frank, it sounds like. He doesn't believe that he will lead Spurs to any trophies like Ange. That's how he sees it from that comment.
A winning mentality. So 22 games lost in the league, 26 in total last year. And the guy had a nearly 40 game losing streak with us. Sorry,
don't get sucked in, Corey. Don't get sucked in.
Pochettino in 5 years had 40 losses. 40. And Postecoglou and Fraudaclou had nearly 40 losses in 2 seasons at Tottenham. I'm sorry. He won us 1 trophy, and everyone's saying about a winning mentality. A winning mentality doesn't lose you 26 games in a season. I'm sorry, no. We got very lucky to get to the final and very lucky to win it. I'm sorry, the guy had no clue and was lucky to be even a Tottenham manager. I know you say don't get sucked into it, but a winning mentality is the guy had no winning mentality. He couldn't coach a defense and was playing some of the most atrocious football I've ever seen at Spurs in my nearly 40 years of supporting this club.
But then he gave you your best day of your life.
The only thing I'll take away from us winning that cup is my granddad was seriously ill with cancer this year. Got over it, and that phone call me and him had, well, because I wanted to go over to his to watch it, but he wasn't feeling too well, so he's just getting over cancer, getting back to himself. We did it, kid. I know, Grandad, I wish I could have come over to watch it with you, but I wanted you to rest and blah blah blah. But we've done it, kid. We've won, blah blah blah. I was really happy. I'm grateful that we've won the trophy, but that was the most piss poor in 40 years I've seen and been a fan of this great club. I'm sorry. I'm so glad that chapter's gone. All you Ange fans, if you want, he's now at Nottingham Forest. Go support him there. I know Forest fans will take you in.
Be fair to Peter, he's been a Spurs fan for a long time. So big up, Peter.
Look, it's his opinion. He doesn't rate Frank. And until we win something, then yeah, that's it, isn't it? Everyone's got their own opinions on whoever. It's up to them, isn't it?
Yeah, going back to the subject of who's impressed me in the Premier League, for me, Liverpool haven't impressed me that much actually at the moment. They're getting results, and fair play to them. They've won 5 in a row without really. They've kind of been in second, third gear, haven't they?
That's the worry, isn't it?
Yeah. Arsenal don't impress me at all. Real concern that Arteta is playing so defensively against the big sides when he's got the squad there now to be really playing the big guns and going head to head. Just doesn't want to do it. So Arsenal, for me, don't impress me. Bournemouth have been. I think I've been most impressed with Bournemouth so far. Everyone said at the start of the season, Bournemouth shoo-in for going down. They've lost their goalkeeper. They've lost their entire defence. Yeah, for me, I think they've been one of the better sides.
Well, that's one team that's never going to have problems with the so-called mighty money transfer embargo, potentially things that hang over all these other clubs. I mean, yeah. What's it? Fair play and money, and yeah, they'll never have a problem with it. Just like we don't have a problem with it. There's clubs that I look at still, Man City with their 115 charges, all they had to do is basically pay a £10 fine and it's all been forgotten. Chelsea, they seem to break the rules every season and get away with it. So yeah, we need to start
Let's talk about kind of about performances. I know we can get into the ins and outs of, what you said, Corey, but if we actually look at the sides, Liverpool are well ahead of us, Arsenal ahead of us. Man City, I know they're faltering, but they will probably get some kind of form soon. I think they're ahead of us. Chelsea probably are as well, even though they're kind of faltering a little bit. Newcastle, I think, are ahead of us. So realistically, the best I think we can finish is 5th, and that's if everything goes to plan this season. We don't get too many injuries, and we have a fantastic season. I at a push, and I don't think we will. But fans, fans are hopeful. They've seen this start to Spurs season, and they think that we can get the Champions League. They can get top 5. I don't know. I can't say that yet. I haven't seen enough of Frank's football. I don't know. I really don't. As we're going to go into that really busy period, and we'll see how Frank manages the squad. I think with his rotation, he's been doing okay with it. He is changing players game to game, which we didn't see under Ange so much last season. What do you reckon, guys? 5th at a push, and that's if everything really goes together. I mean, I don't know.
I would be happy between 4th and 7th. Any kind of European football that this Frank brings in this year will be a massive boost to us as fans, us as a club, and really cementing ourselves again as one of the top 6 teams in the Premier League. And then that obviously has a knock-on in transfer policy with top quality players wanting to join you at your club.
Yeah, it's hard to call right now, but I don't know, Maz. If you had to call it, would you say? I think if Frank gets us 5th, I think he would have had a really good first season. I think if he qualifies as Champions League, I think he would have done very well, because I think we're lacking a top striker, we're lacking a winger. I think there's issues in that midfield. We need someone better centrally, somebody who can dictate the play, someone who's good on the ball. I do think we lack that top quality in the middle of the park. I know Xavi, hopefully he'll come good, but we just don't know yet. Maz, what do you think?
I just think it's too early to call it, to be honest, Dan. I think he'll make us consistent. I don't think we're going to lose anywhere near as many games as what we have done with Ange. I think that we are going to pick up points against teams, certainly under Ange, that we would never have picked up points against. But what will stop us doing as well as what people are hoping for, the fifth or fourth positions or Champions League positions, is just the quality. We just lack quality. Now, that's not to say that in games, i.e. Man City, that we don't have quality to beat those teams, if they're all putting a shift in, but you're relying on them putting world-beating performances to do that. And I just can't see that happening. Not that they can't, I just can't see it happening now, because I haven't seen enough of Frank and the team and how they're being coached and the tactics. Yeah, so I just feel a bit uncomfortable sort of trying to predict now what's going to happen, which I will know a lot more come Christmas period and how we react as to whether or not we're going to, finish high up the table or not. Because
there's some good teams, Maz. Palace, fantastic. They're on an unbeaten run, 17 games. I mean, fantastic. They lost it doesn't seem to stop them as a kind of team, great kind of principles there from Glasner.
Glasner's a top
brilliant
manager. Yeah, and he's a top manager, and I don't know what we do at Spurs, but they always seem to find like a replacement, don't they? these teams always find a replacement, or someone comes through that and they don't seem to lose these players. And
as a guy from Brighton, I hate to talk about Palace, but yeah, I'll give them props there.
But but with us, we lose Son, and we literally got like no one, no one to come in and fill his shoes. And yeah, I don't know, Dad. I don't want.
It's just a bit of fun, isn't it? You know what I mean? Everybody's talking about it as fans.
I'm sort of done with predicting like Spurs at the moment. It is after crazy. That season, last season with Ange, it's just like, oh god. Do I have to
when fans come out and say we can get top 5 nailed on, I can't make that judgment yet. I need to see a lot more. Yeah, we've got a lot of work to do. Frank's got a lot of work to do. There's so many games to play, so many games to juggle, and I don't know. It's difficult, but it's a fan, isn't it? As a fan, you can want what you want. It's your own opinion at the end of the day. So looking kind of back to the kind of Premier League, I guess we're all thinking what Liverpool, Arsenal, and maybe City are the kind of favourites right now, guys.
Yeah, and what I like about City is they gone out and addressed their goalkeeping situation quite quickly this season. They lost my main pick for Fantasy Dream League, him going off to the Saudi Pro League, by bringing in a very, very top quality experienced goalkeeper and bringing back their understudy. So, they've gone out and addressed it. They've gone out and addressed some of their situations up front, City, so they look stronger. Arsenal, complete revamp. They look a lot stronger than what they did last year. Liverpool have gone completely gun-ho and signed pretty much everyone and their dog that is of top quality. So it's going to be hard to break past them three. I look at teams like when you
Chelsea.
say
what do you think of Chelsea, Corey?
Chelsea again with their 72 players. They turn up to a team. They turn up to a match with a triple-decker bus. So Chelsea.
What about the way they play, Corey? I don't know if you watched Chelsea or you've seen them this season.
I've seen a couple of
Nige,
games.
Anybody? What do you think of Chelsea? How they're getting on under their, under Maresca?
I think they're just too well. I think they've got the ability. I think they will be up there. I think they do have confidence from their 2 cups that they've won, even though one of them was like a friendly competition. But
Or the Club World Cup.
yeah,
We're not going to hear that. We're not going to hear the end of that for the next 4
do
years.
think that they're a solid team, if I'm honest. I do think Chelsea are a pretty solid team, but they do have this propensity to play really bad. I mean, the fact that they lost against Man United, I think for them is just like, what the hell? How can
And
we lose
they
Man
have
United?
this knack for signing players from Brighton, so it's literally Brighton 2.0 with a few extra players, isn't it? So,
I still think Chelsea are just a couple of players short. I still think they're a top keeper short and a 20-goal season striker. I know they bought strikers, but I just don't think either of
They
them
spent so
good
much
enough
money,
to.
Nige, haven't they? They
Yeah,
spent so
no.
much, and they're still their team is not there yet to be challenging for kind of titles, and they I don't understand where all that money has gone. Their defense.
No.
You look at their back line; they haven't got anyone amazing as centre backs.
I wouldn't
I'd
be able to
say
pick their back
Cucurella
four.
is great. Cucurella is a
Well, he's a
nail.
good player. Yeah.
Cucurella is the only name
He's
I'd
annoying.
pick.
He's annoying, but he's a good player.
Sideshow Bob.
I couldn't pick the Chelsea back four because they've got so many players. Couldn't pick them. Same
I
way.
mean, how many players in the last 4 years have Chelsea stolen from Brighton? Is it going on 5 now? They're only 6 off from the starting 11.
When they lost against Man United, I texted my Chelsea mate. I said, "Oh, you have to spend another £1 billion now. Spend another £1 billion to try and fix that situation."
We've got them not far away, Chelsea. 1st of November, Saturday. Yeah, so that's going to be, and that's at I think it's at home, right? I think against Chelsea. Yeah, that's going to be and Frank's got a good record against Chelsea, isn't he? When he was manager of Brentford. So hopefully we need to start beating Chelsea again. We've not won against them in the last couple of seasons, at least. I think we've really struggled against them, especially under Ange. So yeah, Chelsea, I don't really know with them. Bit up and down with them. They can play really well sometimes. Sometimes they can be poor. Maresca sticks to his system, doesn't really change it. It's like the game against Manchester United when they had nothing to lose, really. Yeah, they just had to go for it, especially when Casemiro got sent off and it was 10 versus 10. They continued to play the same way. They didn't go for it, did they?
He took all his attacking players off, though, didn't he? When they went down to 10 and didn't really have a lot of options off the bench. So.
Fair enough. Maybe that's a bit unfair from me, but you just go for it, don't you? You just go direct. The rain was pissing down in that game. Maybe he could have done a bit more, but I don't know. I think Newcastle are a very good side. I think obviously they lost Isaac. They've signed a couple of forwards. Is it who is it? Wizza, right? Wizza and that Wolf guy.
Wolfman, yeah.
What's his name? Wolf.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I know he's about 18 foot tall, isn't he?
18 foot tall, yeah. So I think they're a good side. They'll be up there. And you look at teams like Nottingham Forest have kind of dropped off from last season. We've seen what's going on there. And Villa as well. Really, really poor start to the season. They haven't got a win, scored 1 goal. Didn't have the best transfer windows, and this is what I mean. I think Tottenham
they locked in under FFP though, Villa.
Yeah,
I kind of feel sorry for Villa in that they went out and
I don't feel sorry for them
so much. I feel because they can't quite get away with what City got away with under the FFP rules, but it seems to be smaller clubs that aren't Man City, Liverpool, Man United, and Chelsea seem to get hit harder than anyone else. I mean, we've seen smaller clubs in the Premier League in the last few seasons hit with FFP rules quicker than anyone else, but yeah, Man City can get away with 115 charges. Chelsea are in FFP crisis as well, but seem to always manage to sign about 1 billion players and get away with it, and no punishments come of it. And then you look at teams like Nottingham Forest, like, okay, I hate Nottingham Forest now this season after everything that went on, but they got hit with a points deduction. I mean, there's teams getting hit with points deductions and fines, yet City, Chelsea get away with it, and it just bothers me, that kind of stuff. It really does, how they can bend the rules and get away with it.
Yeah, it's hard to understand. So I look at this league and I think this is a really good chance for Spurs to kind of pick up a lot of points in this first part of the season. Get away from the likes of Villa. Try and get up. Stay up that kind of top end of the table. I don't know, guys. It's we'll have to see. It's intriguing, right?
Yeah, there's one team in that bottom three I would want to see in the bottom three all year round, and that's West Ham. I would love to see them get relegated so I could just wind up my mate who is a massive West Ham fan and was winding me up for ages that they won a European Cup before we did. And then I had to remind him that we've won two before they ever were even thought of.
But even the teams that have come up, Leeds have started okay, Sunderland have started okay, but again, it is so early in the season. We could be looking at 10 games and that league could look totally different. So a good start.
10
But,
games
yeah,
is normally
let's
quite a
see
good
what
measure.
happens.
It's like the first measure, isn't it? After the first
Yeah.
10 games, see where we are.
Mm.
But a lot of games to play. Guys, let's move on to the two games coming up. I don't know if anybody heard Frank's press conference today about the Doncaster game. Anybody hear what he had to say?
No, I've been quite busy most of
Bits
the
of
day,
it.
so I haven't really got around to it.
He was obviously talking about the importance of it, that he's going to go quite strong. Brentford got knocked out against a couple of lower end teams when he was manager there, so I'm sure he doesn't want to make the same mistakes. We've seen what happened with Man U getting knocked out to Grimsby. I know this game is at home. But guys, it should be a win tomorrow, right? And it should be whoever we play.
Is it me, or did in the past we never used to have this? I mean, I know we lost some ridiculous games like Colchester and stuff like that in the past, but I used to remember like Harry Redknapp playing our second string team against these teams and would win no problem.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, it's true.
I think even Poch to a certain extent. I know Poch didn't have the greatest cup records with us, but at least we progressed to the latter stages. Then we got knocked out.
Yeah,
I just don't get why now all of a sudden we've got to play our full strength team against teams that really we should be breezing past with no issue.
Who do you want to see then tomorrow in midfield? Gray? Do you want to see the likes of Gray, Danso,
No.
Tell? What you're looking forward to seeing play.
I think you're right. Maybe we should go full strength.
I'd be happy if I don't see Archie Gray for the rest of the season.
No, come on, he's got to have a game, and he's here. They didn't loan him out.
I think you can play people like Archie Gray and Bergvall and stuff like that, but you have to obviously mix it in with experience. That's the mistake I think we do. We sort of drop the wrong players.
So do we rest Big Vic tomorrow and go and put our acquisition from last season in, or do we give Austin a game?
No, you got to play Kingsley. You can't.
Kingsley. Yeah.
I don't know why Austin's still at the club, to be honest. We should just get rid of him.
Homegrown quota so we could play in Europe.
Yeah, there's got to be another young player we can stick in instead of him. But who should he put in? I don't know. Maybe just leave in Romero.
Kinksky, Danso, Romero.
Yeah, something like that. Just keep the spine. Keep in Bentancur if you're going to drop him, or Palhinha, one of the two, and then play your Gray and your Bergvalls and your Odebers and your Tells and stuff like that. Otherwise, there's no point in having the squad. We moan about lack of rotation and having a big enough squad and the quality and stuff like that, but we're not playing.
Tell up front, Wilson on the left, eh?
Yeah.
Right, Danso and Gray at the back with Spencer and Dogia as our wing backs. Johnson on the right, Odebert on the left.
A bit of a struggle, I think.
Tell up top.
No, seriously, guys. Seriously, we've got to be winning this game. Got to be getting through.
I think Davis starts. I think he'll probably start. I think Spencer probably go to right back. I think Gray definitely play. Then you'll see the likes of Sai didn't play at the weekend. Here come in. And the front three is a concern. Wouldn't surprise me if maybe Scarlett gets a start.
Scarlett, is he still in? Isn't he on loan?
I thought
No,
Scarlett went out
he's
online.
with the squad. No, he's with the squad.
Well, there you go.
He definitely plays some part in the game anyway.
Yeah, cleaning the boots
Yeah.
after.
Well, everyone's talking about Luca Williams-Barnett, aren't they? Whether he gets any minutes. So it'll be interesting to see whether he gets on. But yeah, otherwise the team is just depressing. Let's just win the game and move on.
Job done. Bing bong. Let's move
No
on.
embarrassments. We've got to get through.
No. We should be beating them comfortably with third strength team. You know,
They're
we should
in
be able to
League
play the
One.
kids and win.
Yeah, they're in League One. They're doing all right in their league. They knocked out Middlesbrough, I think in the last round, 4-1 or something like that. I think they beat AFC Wimbledon as well. So that's been their route to this round. Look, it sounds like Frank, just listening from his press conference, it sounds like, he's taking it seriously. He's going to play a strongish team. And look, he talked about, competing in all 4 competitions, trying to win something. It was in the press conference, they were asking about Kulusevski, that he may be back before Christmas. What else did he talk about? Nothing too interesting, to be honest. Not really much to talk about this one.
He said Mwani's still out.
Oh,
didn't
he's
he?
out, yeah. He's out, yeah.
How do we manage to sign another player that's always injured?
I know, honestly. It's like, what the hell?
It's like we brought in that Takai, didn't we? Like, how the hell do you not understand he has an underlying injury problem? Although I have watched a lot of him in Japan, Jesus Christ. We like signing them injured, don't we?
He might start tomorrow, because he's back in training. Dragoshin's back in full training as well, so we might see him. Yeah. And Solanke's back in full training, so
Solanke's out.
I don't know.
He's not playing.
I don't want to see Solanke.
It wouldn't surprise me if he's on the bench.
To pivot slightly, it's decisions like that where you're bringing in players that are injured that Levy got the bullet for, because it always happens to Spurs. And at some point, fine, you can blame the coaching staff, you can blame the medical team, you can blame the pitches, you can blame the lovely hotel, whatever, you can blame everything.
The curse of Darren Anderton.
Yeah, but it's, it ultimately always falls to the guy at the top to make sure that the people he's putting in place are making the right decisions. And if they're not making the right decisions, then there's only one person to blame, the guy at the top, because that's how life works, unfortunately.
Maz, is that time? Is it? You want to have a little say about? You sure? You could have. No. Okay, he's gone.
I have watched a lot of different leagues.
No, I'm showing you Conte's. I'm showing you Conte's face, because all you need to do is watch that 10-minute rant that he had to tell you everything you need to know.
The truth.
The truth.
Yeah. Guys, any more thoughts about that Doncaster game before we move on to Wolves? Really,
comfortable 3-0 win. Let's not see any cock-ups. That's all I want to say. I just want us not looking like crap. Play a rotated squad so that when it comes to the Premier League, because Wolves aren't no pushovers, they're no jokes. I just want to see us at the weekend at full strength, because if we're really going to take the Premier League seriously as well as Cups, we need to rotate for weaker opposition. I know League One, people look down on it, but it's still higher rated than the Scottish First Division, and
it's got to be professional performance, isn't it? Got to take it. Yeah, they can't be sloppy and just take it. They've really got to play like they normally play. Get the game won. Yeah, get some goals, entertain the home crowd going out tomorrow night to watch it. So, look, I think we'll be all right. But Wolves at the weekend, guys. I mean, Wolves are having a shocking start to the season. The manager's been given another contract. 4 defeats. It's what's going on with Wolves, guys?
I expect us to beat Wolves. We'll
beat Wolves, definitely, but they always seem to do it every season. They start off slow, then boom, they go on like a 10-15 game winning streak.
Do they?
They did it they did it kind of last season, didn't they? They won like 8-9 games, and that's what got them out of the relegation zone.
Okay, their new manager come in, didn't he? I think did he come in last season?
Yeah, he did. He came in towards the back of last season, and it literally sorted them out, and it got them out of the relegation zone and above us. So,
but they've lost some players, haven't they? They have recruited some players, but I don't know the level of quality the guys they brought in are going to improve them. Wolves, they're going to have to start picking up some points. They're going to find himself in a relegation battle. It's not been working for them, has it, really? Surely this is a win as well, but...
Yeah, I expect us to
Wolves beat Everton tonight. Ellie's just confirmed that one.
Yeah.
They beat Everton in the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
Where was that played?
At Wolves.
At Wolves.
Okay. So Wolves' start to the season is they lost. They got thrashed at home against City. They lost away to Bournemouth. Everton beat them at their ground in the Premier League. They lost away to Newcastle 1-0. And then they got beaten at home against Leeds at the weekend 3-1. So, yeah, look, some tricky games in there for them. But guys, come on, we should be winning this game, and it should be a good performance, a game that we dominate, create chances, score some goals.
I really want to see. I mean, both the games we've got coming up are fringe players. One of them has to put in a good shift. That for me, that's key. That one of them, Tell, Odegaard, whoever comes in, they have to show us something. Otherwise, we're in for this really up and down season. I feel if we don't get a shining light coming through, that's gonna, if it's Tell, it's Tell. If he comes good and he proves everyone wrong and he becomes this, this great young player, then great. It's great for all of us, right? But they have to show something. If they don't show something against these poor teams, then they're just going to be another Nkudu and G and Danjuma and all those types of players that we always bring in.
So what is it, Maz, you want to see from them specifically? Is it goals? Is it assists? Is it what is it, Maz, you're looking at? What are you looking for these
Let's say it's Tell. Let's say it's Tell as an example. Or Tell and Odegaard, but the same thing. You want to see them beat their man. You want to see them causing trouble, taking on their man and beating them, whether or not they get a shot away or they put a cross in. That's a start. You want to see them not give the ball away and make some intelligent passes or creativity. That's what you want from your forwards. And you want to see them at least have good efforts on goal or be in the right places to have good efforts. That's what I would expect to see from the lesser quality, against the lesser quality sides. The one thing that was really good about what's his bloody name? I just had it in my head.
Clinton
what's the Brazilian chap that we got rid of a few seasons ago? Mora, that's it. Yeah. One thing about Mora that he was good at is every now and again, right? He would come up with something, and you'd be like, "Bloody hell, that was good."
Yeah.
He'll beat 2 or 3 players and score a goal. That was good. Like against Ajax.
Good squad player.
Yeah, he would at least do something that you think that was good. But
yeah,
O'Reilly got his Solskjaer then. He was O'Reilly got his Solskjaer. Not that great, but it was a super sub.
But Tell and Odegaard specifically, I haven't seen that from them at all.
I've seen nothing from them. I've got to be honest, guys.
You couldn't put Tell, Odegaard, and Johnson together and be as good as the gentleman that we're talking about. At least that gentleman got us to a final and carried us on his back when Kane was injured. What would these 3 do? One guy taps it in, the other 2 can't beat it, man.
What's going on with Johnson now, guys? Honestly, he's not been in the team. He played a lot of games last season. He was our top goal scorer. It's
refreshing not to see him play. Let's just put it this way. I just can't stand the guy. Don't rate him. And all he can do is run in on the back post and tap it in. He can't beat a man, and he always passes it backwards. He's the quickest slow player I've seen at Tottenham in a while.
Nige, what are we doing with Johnson? What's happened to him now? He doesn't seem to be...
The Johnson hate is real. Listen, he's not a great player, is he? But there's something for running in on the back post and tapping it in, I wish Tal would do that. I wish Odegaard would do that. I don't know. It's the best of a bad bunch, isn't it? For me, I'm like you guys said earlier, pick a player and put him out there and just give him games. And I probably don't think that's Johnson because we've had him. I think either Tell or Odegaard. I'd probably lean towards Odegaard.
A big tick for Frank for me, a real positive, is that he's seen Johnson and he's not playing him.
Yes, thank you, Maz.
That is a big. What a plus that is. And he's just seen his. Maybe not. Maybe
He
well.
played
we
the
send
first
him back
3
to
games,
Forest?
guys.
Guys,
He
true.
played the first
Sorry.
3
I've got to
games,
get my
didn't
facts
he?
right on that. Yeah.
In the league. Yeah, he played left wing, didn't he? The first 3 matches. He scored. Did he score 2 goals, I think? First 2 games of the season. He scored against City.
I'm probably
He scored-
wrong on that, then, isn't it? But it's still though. He's still not a shoo-in, is he? Let's put it that way.
No, he's not. He doesn't offer anything
Frank's
else.
probably looked at him and gone, "Nah, not you, mate. Sorry, get on the
No, I
bench."
don't
No, I think if you have Xavi in a 10 and you're playing Johnson maybe off the, 'cause he ain't going to get onto the right. If you're playing Johnson off the left and you're playing him inside a little bit, then the likes of Xavi could slip him in, and when Johnson's in, he's going to finish. But if that's what we rely on, then
that's
it's
only if we
not
play
much.
Nige teams who kind of give us space, right? A lot of teams are
Yeah,
going to come up at home. They're not going to give us any space. They're going to be sitting in, defending deep. And Johnson, what's he going to be able to do in that kind of against
That's
them type
why
of defences?
the home form still worries me, because I think
Yeah,
we've been all right away from home. Is at home I've been concerned with our performances.
yeah.
You know, 'cause we struggle to break teams down.
You think we're better away, don't you?
Mm.
Guys,
Yeah.
do you think that we are? Maz, to Corey?
It's very early to say right now with the system. I think we're
shouldn't.
very, very well balanced, better than what we have been in the last 2 or 3 years. Let's just see where this season goes. Maybe I was a little bit over excited for Frank earlier on, but I've had a little bit of chance to calm down and think properly. Frank is going to do us a solid job this season. I really do believe that. It's better to have a manager that knows what he's doing than a fraudster that's managed to get himself into football management. Just honest opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, I always think that a manager's first job is to make your home ground a fortress, and
Definitely.
then about the way form. So I hope that we're solid at home and we make our ground a fortress. At least then, if we do get Arsenal come to the stadium or Man City or Chelsea, that we're going to put in a good performance. When you're relying on your away form to carry you in the season, I think that's very worrying for me, if I'm honest.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just the 2 performances we've had, the last 2. Obviously, the Bournemouth game where they created so many, and even the Villarreal when they created quite a few chances. That does concern me a little bit. We don't seem to give up as much away, but again, like you say, we need to be a fortress at home. We need to be winning our home games.
We need ultras in the Tottenham Stadium. Sorry, we don't have ultras since the old lady was ripped down. This soulless stadium was put up. Sorry, the original fans. Sorry, what's the term now? We're now called legacy fans. Our so-called legacy fans aren't really there anymore. It's been replaced with day trippers and money spenders.
Jimmy says let's sell Johnson. I think.
Give him back.
I think sell him. I think sell him, bring in someone
Chelsea
better.
would.
I think
Chelsea would.
Well, if he was playing at Brighton, maybe they would buy him.
I think we should sell him.
But we just hold on to them. We're going to hold on to him now for 2-3 years. It'll come to near the end of his contract. No one will want to buy him.
Well, under Levy, we'll see what this new thing looks like, right? Time will tell. Maz, why are you on actually, and Corey as well? What is your what you're looking to see now? This new kind of leadership group. What are the key things for you in the next kind of 12, 18 months that there's kind of a change? They start calling them the Lewis family now and not Enoch. What are you kind of looking for, guys?
Looking for better leadership top to bottom. I'm looking for this board to actually start seriously investing in this team, not everything outside of it, like the training ground's great or a nice new multi-million-pound hotel. No, I'm not interested in that. I am interested in Tottenham Football Club. I am interested in who we sign, who we bring in, and ultimately I want to see the players that just don't cut it gone. once we start being a bit more ruthless and start bringing in proper, proven players instead of holding on to these Klingons, these Deadwood players, then I'll start really getting behind this new ownership. I mean, for the longest time since I can recall, I was Levy out 18 years, and once Levy was gone, I was like a pig in shit. I was so happy that he's gone. I don't have to see his face in the stadium anymore, and I'm gonna miss Mr. Kaufman's wanker watch when he used to take their pictures and just put wanker, and then you just see it was brilliant. But like now, I just want to see proper investment, proper time spent on this club, on this team, not the surrounding
Ambition, right?
outside.
You want to see ambition.
I want to see it top to bottom, ambition from the management to the players. And if the players that we bring in meet the same ambitions as the players that we've got, and there's players that don't meet the ambition, get rid of them. Just cut them tight. If you can't sell them, rip up their contract.
It's a good shout from Ellie. Sell him back to, I know you said it, Corey, as well. Yeah, sell him to.
Don't sell him, give him back. Sod it. Just, there you go.
Oh, you can get some money for him.
A tenner and a Freddo. That's as much as he's worth.
I think out of this, from this new, I say new ownership, it's not new, is it? It's
what do you call it, Maz? This new leadership group, is it? What is it?
New leadership group. That's a good way of putting it.
New world order.
Spending money was never our biggest problem. It's always when we spent the money and who we spent the money on. That was always the problem. Where we didn't spend the money is salaries. And we're always that club that were known for not giving the players the top salary, but we'll try and make up for it in bonuses or performance-related bonuses and stuff like that. And that's good up to a certain point. But when you start wanting to kick on from what we were, let's say a top 6 team finishing 7th, 6th, 5th, going into the Champions League, you're not going to attract the top players by trying to undercut them on their salaries. And that limits your options ultimately in the end. You combine that strategy, that transfer policy, and that budgetary policy long term, and then terms like Spursy come out because as a club you're not achieving anything. And Corey said the right word, ambition. One of my major things that I've been talking about since I've come on YouTube is showing that ambition. A lot of the leaders in the Premier League, I say the leaders, the other big owners, they're all billionaires or multi millionaires, but they all want glory because they've made their money. They don't need more money. Obviously, they want to make money for the investors, but a lot of them are in it for personal glory. It's not as if Elon Musk, as an example, he was already the richest man in the world. Now he's the second richest man in the world, right? He's not out there just to make more money. He's out there to make his name last forever.
He's trying to get us to Mars. Come on.
Yeah, trying to get us to Mars, or he wants his name to last forever. So, like the Saudi owners and the Fenway Group and all of that stuff, they want the glory. They want that global recognition, and that opens up other avenues and doors for them.
Oh, let's put it down to being a football owner is more like having a massive ego. The bigger the ego you have, the more money you kind of put into your club, don't you? You want to be the better manager or the better owner of a club.
Yeah, because to other billionaires, because one billionaire goes to another billionaire, and then they're not. I guess one of the discussions is how many billions are you worth now, and they'll be like, oh, I'm worth 10, or another one will be like, I'm worth 12. Then it comes to how well is your football club doing, because that's their toy thing. And if one billionaire is saying, oh yeah, we never win anything, and the other one's saying, oh yeah, I'm winning leagues and whatever, then it's bragging rights, right? It's like a boys' club, isn't it? But I wouldn't know that because I'm very poor. So
I think what got me.
What I'm getting at. Sorry, Corey. what I'm getting at is that Daniel Levy never ran the club as a football club to win and be ambition and give back to the fans. He always ran it for ENIC, for infrastructure project to get that revenue in to satisfy the current the current owners now. But that's changed now because they've met their goals, right? He got us finishing in the top 4 more regularly. He got us the Champions League, right? He got us the stadium. But the owners, they're looking at that thinking, okay, we don't want to stop progressing and we don't want the negative press and all the stuff that came after the stadium. Why are we in the papers every week? Why is everyone talking about Daniel Levy and not about our successes on the pitch? Why are you the story and not the football? And they're not, these aren't stupid people. You don't have I've read that they've got, hundreds of companies under their portfolio that they look after. Certainly, obviously, the Tavistock Group and stuff like that. You don't go from that level of ownership and the companies and that management structure to have one of your prized assets underperforming. That doesn't look good on them. So I hope that now that they've moved Levy on, I hope that they do take a little bit of pride in what they have, and they do seek success, whether or not that is their real motivation or not. A leopard doesn't change its spots to a certain, obviously it doesn't change its spots. But let's hope.
It's funny though, isn't it, Maz? Now suddenly they want to do it, mate, isn't it? Now they want that.
Yeah, but this is where I guess I'm a lot different to everyone else. Look, everyone knows I'm ENIC out, Levy out. I've gone to the protests, etc., etc. I'm not going to rehash all of that stuff. But what we don't know is the communication from Daniel Levy, the picture that he was painting to them, right, and what direction they were giving him, right? As I said, it's not as if we never spent the money. You've got to remember, from the Lewis point of view, they're thinking, okay, we've spent 800 million in the last 5 years, right? They entrust Daniel Levy to run the club. So they may be thinking, we've put in the money. Why haven't we won? And it's reached ahead. Maybe it's taken them a lot longer. Maybe because he was a family friend. Maybe because they have been in business for so long. Maybe they gave him that period of time to, because they trusted him.
Why now, though, Maz? Why now? Is it
because it's been 25 years?
Is it? But we haven't really been doing anything for 25 years, really.
No, but we have. Yeah, but this is where I agree with Sean. But we have, though, because when ENIC came in, we went from finishing mid-table to struggling to almost getting relegated under Alan Sugar, albeit, yes, he did win 2 cups, to challenging for the top 6 and getting into Europe regularly. I think it was it 16 times out of 20 seasons? Also, as well, they bought Tottenham Hotspur and off Alan Sugar because we were freehold, right? And we could build our stadium. So they came in knowing that we were freehold, that we could upgrade our own stadium, and obviously they lobbied the council and the government to enable them to regenerate that whole area and build that infrastructure project. They're real estate people, right? So they know the importance of infrastructure and building up an area and stuff like that. They've done massive work in Florida on that, and in other countries in their portfolio. So maybe that was their goal, and maybe they were happy up until that point. But they're ultimately business people. You don't become billionaires by accident. Do you see what I mean? Right? They want success. They want continued success. There's no billionaire or CEO that is willing just to stay the same. Every successful person always wants to improve, always wants more. And Levy, after 2019, all we went was downhill. So they're looking at that. They gave him 6 years and he couldn't turn it around. And I think during that period, they probably had shitload of arguments and discussions as to why they weren't progressing.
Who was overseeing the transfers, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean? You talk about a lot of money spent, which is very true. You know, it's been badly spent, hasn't it? Like, so
Well,
who was overseeing?
But that's one of the reasons why you would. But that is where the Levy in and Levy out argument really comes to the fore, right? Is Daniel Levy was in charge. He was the executive chairman, right? He made all the decisions. Everything came through him. Ultimately, he was involved day to day. Don't believe all of this nonsense that he just let them pick all the players and everything. We know he was involved because it's been reported on for the last 20 years how he was a tough negotiator, this, that, and the other. He negotiated the Bell deal. He negotiated the Harry Kane deal. All of the Berbatov, not Sheringham. That was bloody donkeys years ago. Modric, etc. Right? So we know he's been involved. We know that when Harry Redknapp went to him and wanted to buy those two players, that they didn't buy the players. So I don't. He's been intrinsically involved in everything that the club has ever done, right? And when it suited him, he was involved. When it didn't suit him, he wasn't involved. So it is a complex situation, but history will look back on Daniel Levy's tenure, and aside from the statistics, i.e., where we finished in the league and the stadium, what else has he got? He's got nothing else. And that's why we've got the moniker of being Spursy. And that's why all the other clubs laugh at us. Okay. And that's why we haven't been successful even by our own standards, right? So,
and it's even down to transfer policies with Levy as well. The way he mucked around other owners across different leagues, it just left a bad taste in us as fans as well, for him not being able to get players over the line. You've got to look at a certain player that a few seasons ago gave him a medical and he went off down the road to Chelsea. It's just been so many players that we've let go or not signed in properly because of Levy. We've had them at the club and they've not signed because of Levy. It's just left a really bad taste in all the fans' mouths, doesn't it? Like, why have you not really shown the ambition in X amount of years, but want to build a stadium and the infrastructure first and not the club? To have the success, you need to have the club first and then build the infrastructure around the club. Felt like we've done it backwards, and now we're looking at paying this stadium back for the next 30, 40 years. So that's going to have an impact on finances as well for bringing players in. And it's just
that is a long-term structure. It's like a mortgage, right? It's a low interest, long-term structured loan, right? It's a good deal. That won't have any effect on us, really, to be honest with you. Or it shouldn't do anyway. But the thing is, Dan, and I'll stop on this point because I don't want to go on and on and on about it. But this question, why now? Right, that's what everyone says. Why are they suddenly interested now? Because now there's a lot more money in the game, right? Now they've spent the £700-800 million, right? And they're looking at it as businessmen saying, hold on a minute, we've spent £700-800 million and this is all we've got for it. That's what they're thinking. It's not a small amount of money, £700-800 million. It's a shitload of money, right? So they're judging Daniel Levy by that metric. They're looking at it saying, hold on a minute, you spent £700-800 million of my money and you've not, what's my return for it? Making a loss every single year since the stadium opened.
That's crazy, isn't it? Even with the events, Maz, even all the events that we do, all that income coming in, we're still making a loss.
But they're looking at it thinking, hold on, you sold Harry Kane for 90 million, yet you've bought this kid for 45. No, but it's things like that. This is not. I know to us, where we're so far removed away from the money that we think, oh yeah, what's 30 million, 40 million, all that. But these billionaires become billionaires because they count every penny, right? And they don't want to lose money like that. So it's for me, it's obvious why they got rid of him, and it's obvious why they're taking an interest now. So
it's a business decision, Maz.
Yeah,
where you're going is a business decision.
Yeah, I'm going to caveat it. They might, all of this positive press that they've given about how they want to win, and of course they're going to say that. And they're not going to come in and say we're going to carry on exactly as we were before, are they? They're not going to say that, obviously, right? And it might be gearing up to sell the club, but we won't know that until a passage of time has happened, right? So you can only judge them by what they do now going forward. But history's shown us that nothing's really going to change. So until they show us something new, my position hasn't changed. I'm still eating it out. I'd rather get someone else in. But if they do good, then you have to say, fair enough, you've done well.
But what is that good then? What is that though?
What does good look like?
Yeah.
Well, we have to start as what Corey said, showing ambition, signing that better quality player that we feel that we should be signing as Tottenham Hotspur. Let's have it right. We are one of the biggest clubs in the world. Financially, we're one of the biggest clubs in the world. There is no reason why we're not signing players befitting of that stature. Regardless of what anyone says, there's not a lot of clubs in the world that can draw the consistent support that we've got, the revenues that we've got, having 300 fans outside the stadium when you win a cup. Right? There's not many teams that can do that, but Tottenham can. Are we as big as the elite teams? No, we're not. But there's no mean feat being just below those elite teams. You know, Man United's, Liverpool's, Real Madrid's, Barcelona's, Bayern's. You know, there's no. Granted,
we're
Chelsea
a sleeping giant, mate. We're a sleeping giant. We are.
Granted, Chelsea in the last 20 years have surpassed us in their achievements and everything, but we've got the history that shows that we're a big club. You know, so yeah, maybe I'm being a bit idealistic and looking back with rose-tinted glasses, but I want them to show the ambition. If they're spending the money bringing in top players, then I wouldn't. If Levy done that, I wouldn't have complained because he tried. But the fact that he didn't try is what irked me. And Corey said it's ambition. They've got to show the ambition, the willingness to want to win.
Well, football is about ambition, but this is another thing that really got me with Levy. Every season, he would make sure his £3 to £5 million went in his bank account. Every season, for the lack of ambition that bald fraud gave us. I just want to see something like when we're linked to a player. I don't want to see the buzzwords we're monitoring, we're looking at. If we're going in for these players, go in early. Don't leave it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks down the line. Or was it? It was about 6 weeks after Maddison got injured that we actually signed somebody. You know, it shouldn't take us 6, 7 weeks after a player's gone down. Right, this guy's just been injured. Right, who's on our list?
They did try to get players, and we kept on getting turned down, didn't we? This is the thing. We did try.
Oh yeah.
You know, they went for a number of players, but we were getting rejected. We lost out on Eze. We lost out on God now stuff.
Eze was never coming to us because of
Morgan Gibbs White. Whatever you think of him as a player, we lost out on him. Nige, who else did we lose out on? I'm sure there was a couple more.
Oh well, we didn't get Savinho, did we? But maybe this is, you know, now Levy's gone. Maybe clubs will deal with us easier. I don't know. Maybe we'll get lucky.
Yeah, and, I think Nige. Sorry to interrupt you, buddy.
That's all right, mate.
I think we would all be a bit naive to think that this bad press and these stories don't get back to the Lewis family, the kids and stuff, right? I'll reiterate, they're not stupid people. They don't become billionaires and run these huge companies by being daft, right?
Of course
all the CEOs that I've I've had the pleasure of working for, they're over the detail. They're workaholics, right? They're successful because they work. That's their life. So to think that Lewis or his kids or his senior leadership people like Charrington aren't looking at that and saying to him, Joe, you know what? I've seen this. This is not good. Why is this happening? And they're sending little text messages to Daniel COYS, right? And saying, Daniel, how come we've lost out on this player? I thought we were getting him. You've asked us to spend 70 million. We said, yeah, but we've not got him. Why? Those conversations absolutely happen. I guarantee it. I'll bet any amount of money. Those conversations happen. Just because they're not in the limelight and they're in the Bahamas doesn't mean they're not hearing about this stuff. You know, I guarantee you, every morning they'll get an update. What's happening with Tottenham, or every month, what's happened, what's the good, what's the bad. You know, is this project finished? Is that project finished? Of course they are. Otherwise, they wouldn't be as successful as they are as business people.
Yeah. I mean, it just has to take now. Like, the old regime has kind of gone. You know, Cullen's gone, Levy's gone. Just need Enoch to go. Lewis, he is the main shareholder. If I've got my data or everything that I know of, like shares, he is the main shareholder, is he not?
Yeah, Enoch. Yeah.
So like, he has to now really push the boat out and show 100% commitment to the fans, the club, the badge, the heritage of Tottenham. We go around calling ourselves a top 6 club for a reason. We've won the 6th most amount of trophies in the Premier League or the history of English football.
That's right.
We were the first English club to win a European Cup back to back. It's not the history is there. It just needs to be built upon with people that understand this club properly.
I just want to address something because I've been meaning to talk about this, as you know, Dan, for quite a while.
It's your time, man.
Right?
It's your time.
Right. Athelstan says, "Oh, I don't think changing the head of the Vampire is going to make much difference." And then he goes on to say, "The saving grace for THFC is the manager. Okay, it's not logically coherent, because why would you think that changing a manager and or let's say a director of football and stuff is going to have such a dramatic difference, yet changing the chief executive, the CEO of the club that makes all of the budgetary decisions, all of the hires, how the club is structured, the ethos of the club, etc., that isn't going to make a change, right? That's going to make more of a change than any manager and or coach to a certain degree.
Longer
Obviously,
term, you mean, Maz? Isn't
longer
it?
term, absolutely. Right, because every CEO, there's no two CEOs that are the same, right? The owners might be the same, right? The key investors, the owners of the shares might be the same, right? But the people that actually steer the ship and captain the ship, i.e. the CEO at the top, can make a massive difference to how the club is run, purely by messaging, mentality, how they view risk, what budgets they give to their departments, and the transfer budget as an example, the coaches they hire, the mentality they look for, the attributes, etc., to insinuate that changing the CEO of an organization won't make any difference to the club, or just removing Levy and putting another CEO in his step won't make a difference to the club, it's nonsense. Because look at what happened to Brighton. Barber left Spurs, went to Brighton. He transformed them as a club. He's not the owner of Brighton.
Well, let's put it this way: as a kid that grew up through their youth system, Brighton, they nearly didn't have a team in 95, 96 to support. Well, I don't support them, but I played for the youth team. There was not a club there nearly all that time ago. The only reason why Brighton still exists is because they managed to avoid relegation in Division 3 all that time ago. and then changes, things happen. You had the ex-Chelsea guy come down, he steered it for a little bit and then sold off to Bloom. Bloom has basically really revamped Brighton from top to bottom, stadium, everything. He has brought the stadium himself on his own back from his winnings and his companies. So Bloom has a lot of respect for people down here in Brighton for what he's done for the club and kept us in the Premier League. Well, not us, but kept Brighton in the Premier League. So as a Tottenham fan looking at Brighton, I have a lot of respect for Bloom for steadying the ship for Brighton. So that's a good owner. You got other good owners at Brentford, because the Brentford Brighton thing was like a running thing, wasn't it? They used to be mates, and then they had an argument of falling out, and they wanted to see who did better. So two very good CEOs and owners, they literally off the back of that, you can definitely change the top of the board, and then things will change in time. It's not going to be an overnight thing for us at Tottenham. We've literally just kicked Levy out. We should have done it ages ago, then we might have actually had a better transfer windows over the last couple of years, but ding dong, the guy's gone. Let's move on. The past is now the past. I can put Levy to bed, like I'm now starting to finally put the whole Ange thing away.
You'll get there.
I'm getting there. It's like a bad breakup, isn't it? It's like I've just broken up with Ange. How am I getting over it? It's like that jokey picture of like Wolverine stroking the picture, like it's just Ange there and I'm Wolverine. There's just so much that has gone on in this club in such a short period of time before the transfer window.
It's a lot happened, isn't there, since the summer? A lot's happened.
The summer, Cullen's gone, Levy's gone,
Ange is gone, Munn's
gone. Well, like all these people that kind of look like a negative influence on our transfer business and dealings with other clubs has gone. It's been swept away in that sense. Like, thank you for your vision of what Tottenham is. Here's your future endeavours. Good luck to you, basically. Get out the door. Let's bring in the kids. Well, they're not kids now. They're in their 60s, like Lewis's kids now. They're older than me. So they're not kids. They're full-grown adults. It's not like they're 20-year-olds with a billionaire daddy going, right, here's your plaything. Kids go out and do something with it. They've obviously gonna hold their dad's legacy to a very good esteem. Hopefully they really do listen to the fans and what we want as a team. We want to see our club back, because for the last nearly 3 decades, we haven't really been happy as a fan base because of the ongoings of Levy.
Frustrations build up, isn't it, over the years? Yeah. The older you get, the more frustrated you get. You just lose patience. You want to change, and this is a massive change. It really is. Obviously, we don't know where it's going to go. All we can do is hope that it does. And the proof will be in the recruitment. The proof will be in how we get rid of players that are just not good enough, move them on faster, not just buying young players with potential. I'm not saying never buy those type of players, but the priority has got to be improving the first team. Yeah, up in the level of the current first team, improving the squad, and we will see that in the next few transfer windows if there is a change in ambition with this change of leadership group. Guys, 5 more minutes, then we're going to shut down. Maz, did you want to reply to Edwardson?
Yeah, I think he's missed the point. I'm not saying he's not logical and considerate. I'm just saying that thought that changing the chairman won't make any difference to how the club is run, let's say, or its ambition, is just not correct. When you change a CEO, things change dramatically, regardless of who actually owns the company or the club. That's why there is frequent CEO changes at big companies, right?
Fresh new people, fresh new ideas.
Absolutely.
New direction.
New boards, new direction. That's why they make these changes at the top. So we know, and Athelstan goes on to say that, why didn't anything change after 2019? Yeah, because Daniel Levy was still the chairman. That's why nothing changed. And things got worse. So it sort of answered his own question there.
Etherson. I mean, we're talking about Ange. I don't know about anybody else here, but I was Ange out before the ink dried on the contract when we got him 2 years ago. I talked to so many of my mates that supported Celtic. I did so much research on him. When we were talking to Julian Nagelsmann, didn't give him the job because we didn't want to bring his coaching team in. 2 years later, we bin off this Australian dildo and bring in Frank and his whole entire coaching team for something we didn't do 2 seasons ago with Julian Nagelsmann and his coaching team. It just makes me wonder
did it with
what
Nuno
Levy
as
was
well.
thinking.
We did it with Nuno. Nuno
Well,
wasn't allowed
I
to
just
bring
want to say, guys, why is it came for the same board to concur with Levy to offer a job to Ash? Well, because Levy constructed the board. He had these people there. He had Donna Cullen and Caldecott, and he brought in Scott Munn, right? They're the ones who chose him. So that's why the board concurred with him, because he was the one calling the shots. Up until they got rid of Levy as the executive chairman, right? He was in charge, right? They had to get rid of him and make him step down so they can take control of the club. That's how it works.
And I look about the manager as well. Obviously, the manager is so crucial as well. Having the right guy leading the team forward. Yeah. Manager decision. I mean, the amount of managers Spurs have gone through in the past 25 years under Levy and Enoch, it's been a lot, right? We haven't backed managers at the right time. We've failed in the transfer market, wrong decisions, money wasted. Think about all that money we've wasted with compensation for kind of letting managers go early. How much money we've lost.
Well, we
Failed
lost what, 8
transfers
million
and
on
Dembele.
Jose, didn't we?
Yeah, it's crazy. But look, we're going to wrap it up in a couple of minutes. Big up to everyone in the chat. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to myself and Nige. Please smash the like button. That would be great. Final points of the evening, guys. Anybody else want to say anything before we close down?
Show some ambition, please, board. Now this is the time to change it, isn't it? We've now got rid of the head of the snake. The rest of the body went before him. The head of the snake remained until we got removed. I just want to see, like Maz has said, I want to now see this board show the ambition that it should have shown us from the beginning. But then 25 years ago, our head should have raised alarm bells on that red flag. We're here to make money. That should have been our first major cause of concern 25 years ago. I'm here to make money.
What about the football, Corey? What about the football? Any final thoughts on the football coming up next? What do you want to see? Anything?
I want to see.
You want to see the next few games? What are you looking for?
I'm looking for more of the same, really. It's been a breath of fresh air. We've got a manager that actually can speak properly to the press and to the fans, not blame, using excuses, looking at the floor when things aren't going his way. I'm now seeing a manager that's out making and writing notes. That's what I want to see my managers doing. They're out there in the technical box.
What about the attacking football, Corey? Anything you want to see an improvement in how we break teams down? Is that what you're looking for?
I'm looking for that. Yeah, definitely I am. I want to see us being able to finally break these low block teams that seem to always manage to put it to the sword to us, Once we start getting in better quality players, we might stop talking about the low block of Bournemouth and the low block
We've always struggled, though, haven't we? Under many managers struggled with the low block.
Definitely. But I mean, if we're going to have this board now showing the ambition and bringing in the players that are of a better quality than what we have, like the Zabis, like the Kudoses, these players actually excite me. Signing players like Tell, Johnson, and Odeberg. Sorry, I'm like, what? Especially Tell, you spunk 40 some odd million with the 10 million loan just so that you can get the Harry Kane deal put to bed. I would have kept buying to the sword on that one. Sorry, here you go. He hasn't impressed. He hasn't done nothing.
It's just not been a good signing. Not at all. I don't understand that signing at all. I don't want to get into it now, but don't get it. When we signed him, didn't see anything from him last season that he was worth investing that amount of money in. Very poor decision, whoever made that, for him to be made permanent. Very disappointing. I felt the money could have been spent elsewhere on a better player who's going to give us something now, what we need. And we can all clearly see left side is a massive problem, and it's going to be a problem until January. Nige, final thoughts of the night, mate? Anything you want to say?
I'm just Yeah, just very much more the same. Listen, this isn't going to happen overnight. This is a slow process. You know, we've not got the squad yet. For me, yeah, it'd be great to see good football. I just want to see winning football at the moment. And yeah, let's have a good season.
And Maz, final thoughts from you, mate.
Yeah, all good. I think great start to the season. I think we look solid. You know, I like Frank. I like what he's doing so far, but I will judge him obviously as you know, time goes on.
You're allowed to criticise, Maz. You know, a lot of people.
I don't think
we're allowed to criticise performances. We are allowed, when we play well, we talk about it positively. If we have a bad performance like Bournemouth, we're going to criticise, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
this is what we do.
Yeah, I don't think I've been overly critical of Frank himself. Like I said, I'm more critical of the individual players that have historically been at the club, and again, that's not his fault, right? That's just, you know, they're there at Spurs. But you know, we have to give him obviously time to turn it around. You know, you got to, like we did for Ange, you got to give him like the first year to see what's what, unless obviously things go dramatically bad. But I don't think that will happen under Frank. And we have to make sure that he gets the right backing. You know, if he's the guy to take us forward, he has to make sure he gets the right backing. But so far, so good. But I do worry about what we're going to do going forward. I just think there's such a big problem for us. I really do. I think that's such a big problem. And I think we're really going to realise that as the pressure and the quality of the teams ramps up. But yeah, that's the fun of it, right? Let's see what happens.
It's intriguing to see how this all plays out. Yeah, great stuff, guys. Well, thank you, everybody. Maz, Corey, Nige, everyone in the chat who stayed with us throughout the whole evening. Massive thank you to you guys. Thank you so much, and for all your comments and everything. Please subscribe if you haven't. Like the video. We'll be back next week, but we got that same problem again, Nige. Champions League night.
Yeah, Champions League, yeah.
So we'll probably go live straight after again. Maybe just me and you, or maybe we'll get a couple of guests on. We'll see. But yeah, just good night to everyone. Thank you so much. Take care of yourselves. And yeah, let's hope it's a straightforward evening tomorrow. Good night, everyone. Take care.
Good night.
See ya.